ban I've gotten. They're just your go-tos.
Yeah, also you see the Hell ban. All three, I think, are pretty good bans. You can't go wrong with any of those three bans.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I would love to see a Tiamat ban as you see the Wingers ban it here.
There you go.
This is where the rest of the picks start getting funky or banning. Raijin ban here. I would love to see the Wingers ban Osiris.
See that? Oh, there's Persephone as well. I was actually just about to mention that. The Raijin over Persephone is a little interesting to me, as I think that Persephone's a little bit better of a pick right now. I think does a little more damage, a little bit better ultimate right now. So I'm a little surprised they went with Raijin over Persephone. And Osiris not being first picked and not going through that ban phase is a little surprising. So I'd be even more surprising if Wingers didn't just pick it up right here.
The Medusa ban is now shocking me. I don't understand why you would pick a Medusa this early.
Yeah.
You can pick a whole bunch of mages. Rom's better. Izanami's better in that slot.
Mm-hmm.
And Osiris is still available. So
Yeah.
my mind is blown how he made it through this far.
And if you're a long time Reap fan, you'll know that Skipper has Medusa as one of his biggest comfort picks, and maybe the synergy they're trying to pull off there with Cerberus into Medusa alts. Maybe they're trying to go with something there and try and figure that out. But once again, there's better hunters available. There's better characters available. And so a little surprising to see the Medusa. But if you're a longtime Reap fan, it's not completely out of the question.
And Skills might be going to his comfort pick, the Nox. Now, Gilgamesh is a little question. There has been recent nerfs to Gilga.
Mm-hmm.
So I would love to see the Osiris pick there. But Gilga does still have a lot of crowd control that a lot of other warriors and junglers don't have.
Yeah, and I mean he does have he adds a lot to these teams. And with the Baba Yaga coming through, we're kind of starting to see that Cursed Cowboys just wants to pick, top of the line meta stuff. A little surprising. Osiris just not even going to be touched here in these in this top three here, but it looks like it's pretty obvious that Cursed Cowboys is want to go with top of the line stuff. Baba Yaga isn't like in that super high echelon of mid laners, but he is close and he is still very strong. So I'm not surprised seeing all that go down. And then the Sobek pick to lock it off is a nice pick to round off with Medusa.
I like the pick, but also dislike it because Serb can be a flex pick. So you could have just picked your jungler Osiris. You could have picked your mid laner there, and then pick the Sobek later because they're not really going to ban supports unless they know for a fact your support can't play Serb.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then Baba Yaga, I like the pick. It looking like they're going to go a hard dive on the Cursed Cowboys. And the Wingers wants to bring you to their backline, which I don't think is a great call when they have three people that just want to get to your backline.
Yeah. And, I happen to agree with you just 100% there, but let's move directly into these last four bans here. We got Giannis, Izanami, Athena, and a Hunbats band coming out here. And some of those bands I haven't really seen all that much. I don't really see Hunbats bands typically anymore. And Athena has been kind of falling out of the ban, but still a respectable ban from them to come out. Just kind of I'm not too certain about those bans.
Humbats, if they know the jungler loves to run Humbats, I think it's a great ban. But last week you saw Cynic, who's the mid laner for the Wingers, run Giannis. Maybe they're scared of the Giannis, and then the on-her Horus locked in here. I would be scared if I'm the Wingers dual lane right now, because that Horus level 2, on her level 2, they're looking for that kill after that first wave.
And they have most definitely solidified that very heavy dive comp coming in there with, obviously Horus very good at it, on her very good at diving. All these gods really strong, and they're just trying to, probably just going to try and 5-man run down this game and see what happens here. But I think they might run into some problems here. Cerberus can be really good at counter dive. A Wheelish could really throw in some problems here if they end up doing that with early pressure with the Sobek combos, with Cerberus once that ultimate comes online. and there's a lot of stuff here, as well as that Cerberus Scylla combo can go extremely strong. There isn't too many CC immune ultimates. You got them on the Baba Yaga and the Anhur, so you do have them on the characters that it's most important for, but still, you could be seeing, 3-4 man Cerberus ult into Scylla ults, and that's something that's got to be scary for the Cursed Cowboys.
Yeah, I would be a little concerned because Scylla, you don't want to be too grouped up, and Cursed Cowboys are going to be grouped up. I would much rather see a Scylla ban instead of the Giannis ban if you're going to go hard dive, because Giannis, he can get away, but Scylla can kill your whole entire team with one Scylla crush and one I'm a monster.
Mm.
And then a Wheelix here who's still being hovered. I like it. Anhur's going to jump in. Baba Yaga's going to jump in. Gilgamesh is going to jump in. The 3 squishies on that team, you can pull, so you can get that one isolated 1v1 that you would much rather have with a Wheelix than you would love to have on the Cursed Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Isolating, literally, if you just take out that Baba Yaga out of a fight, they are going to struggle a lot with killing, Cerberus, Sobek. I think a lot of that tank shred is going to come from that Baba Yaga pick there. So if they can get rid of that out of the fight, or even just getting rid of an Anhur, because getting rid of the ADC is always a good thing. It never is bad. Getting rid of that Anhur would also just really pretty much almost guarantee a win on a fight for them if they're going into these late game T fights.
Yeah, I like the Wingers draft though. I don't know who you would favor, but I like the Wingers draft. They got a lot of keep them off our back line, and at the same time murdering your guys as they're moving them around. Do you see anything that the Cursed Cowboys can do to win this draft?
I personally think Cursed Cowboys have quite a bit going for them in this. Their heavy dive, Medusa is generally pretty easy to dive. You can pretty much cancel her dash by standing behind her, so she doesn't really have an escape if you're doing what you're supposed to right. And Scylla can be zoned off of these fights, and if stuff like that happens, I just really don't see how they're gonna hold up to this. But I think it's a very close draft, and I do happen to agree with you, it being slightly in the Wingers' favor, just because of that, those great combos they have with Sobek, Awelish, Cerberus Scylla, Cerberus Medusa. All those combos work together extremely well.
They work extremely well, and then as well as the Cursed Cowboys, I feel like one thing goes wrong, like you're diving, all of a sudden 3 people get rooted. If your other 2 players don't know, they could get easily caught out and isolated and picked without the other 3 being able to help out them. And at the same token, there's Sobek, he can pull people off. There's Cerberus pulling people off. I also like the 3v3 against the other 3v3. I think Gilgamesh, Baba Yaga, and Horus, their problem is if Sobek plucks one, they got to use their kit to help the other one out. And I think in the token, Scylla doesn't have to instantly use their ult. They're all trying to save that one person. Horse has to be on top of you to save you. Baba Yaga, she has to go into her house. Big target for I'm a Monster. And if Gilgamesh gets pulled or tries to jump away, Awelix pulls back. Scylla, I'm a Monster on top of that. I think you can win the game by the 3v3. And then also Cerb, Medusa working together. Cursed Cowboys, as a unit, can be better, but they got to get there.
Yeah, and I think there is Cursed Cowboys definitely has a little bit more snowball potential, but I think that's going to be a little bit harder to achieve on against that mid 3v3 that you mentioned, because there is just so much setup for this Scylla that if you're Scylla, you really just have to be like just excited to play this game, because there's how are you going to miss a crush when 3 people are trying to set it up for you? And that's got to be really fun, as we've both played, we're both either mid lane players or have played the role quite a bit now, and I'd love to be on that Scylla right now.
It's a lot easier hitting it up with setup than it is with no setup. And then on the same token, Medusa doesn't have to really aim her ult if they're all getting pulled back towards her. It also helps her out with her escapes. I like that draft. And then at the end of the day, Anhur's gonna have to push that lead on the Medusa.
Well, let's get directly into this game here as we're gonna move straight on into it and find out how the start of this game is really gonna go. All right, it looks like we have Mr. Peanuts Left Nut as the carry and Cynic as the mid laner for those two teams. So if you were trying to figure out who those were, we have found out now. And we're just gonna kind of start off with the usuals. Every team does it now. The red start into the purple. You know, it's pretty standard at this point. There isn't really any other starts right now.
Yeah, there's no starts right now, but at the same time, I'm excited to see this level 2 fight coming out of this Horrors on her.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see them get this pick early. If they don't get this pick early, they didn't even get level 2 yet. That's not a great sign. As Gilgamesh goes in here, Willix feather steps over his knockback.
Yeah, and I mean, we're just, we're seeing some poke come down here. It's really bad that the Cursed Cowboys didn't get that level 2, especially because, like, they're on her Horus. Why were they not out clearing, a Sobek Medusa? I feel like they should pretty much almost always, in that situation, get that early level 2.
I don't understand how they lost the pressure, but Sobek and Medusa do have great wave clear as well. Maybe they just thought they could fight level 1 when their comps set up for the level 2. As the Horus goes in,
Ooh, Honor's going to jump right in there. GA Seraph is very low, and we see Gilgamesh coming around trying to get that first blood, and he is going to pull it off. Skipper also could be in some trouble here. Doesn't look like he has his dash up. He is going to go straight in here. He's super low, but they are not going to be able to pick up the kill on Skipper.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, that their level 2 is better than yours. You probably should just play safer. Mm-hmm. You already won that level 1. You should have done that heartbeat the moment you won that pressure. They just overplayed their hand and they paid for it.
I'm also a little surprised that it didn't seem like Medusa went her dash or level 2. That seems I guess a little questionable on my end. I feel like you should almost always be going that. It gives you a lot of kill pressure and oh, never mind. It looks like I'm wrong. It looks like she might have just used it and had it down for that fight.
Yeah, I think she used it to help out her support and then almost got caught out herself. I think as a carry, unless you have another 4-man escape
or bad position, and Rogue is going to get him in. Oh, he gets executed and will not. And Lucio will not be able to get a return kill there. Ooh, see Camazot's going directly back in here. On her leap going to come down. I think Medusa Dash got caught there, and Skipper is most definitely going to go down here as they're going to go in. Sobek Pluck going down, but he is also in a little bit of trouble. Never mind, he's a Sobek. They're not even going to try.
This dual lane's not looking very good, but on the return in, I like the pressure that the wingers are putting out on the solo lane side. If you're losing duo, you have to win a lane, throw it into the solo.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100% here. I think they're making the right call. I think if you're Cursed Cowboys, you're gonna want to play back here. You have strong late games. You have I think, in my opinion, Medusa can. I mean, it's pretty even on who outscales that matchup. So I would not be playing aggressive here like they have been, which has just been kind of getting them caught out.
They need to start playing more passive and then keep securing your purple buff. But I like this aggression in mid right here by this Awilix.
Yeah, Wheelish putting a little bit of poke down there on Sneaky Dream, is already a level ahead. So he's been on his timers a little bit better, been able to farm a little more, and that might turn into something as we go into this game.
Yeah, as you see there, the dual aggression in the back camps.
Ooh, Sneaky Dream very low. The Seal ultimate is going to come down. He is going to miss it, though. Sneaky Dream is trying to get out of this situation. He is going to be able to get out with his jump there, but they're rotating directly onto that solo lane. They might be able to look for something over there on Lucio Horde.
I like this aggression from the wingers. They are hard pressing that solo lane side, and they know their dual lane's losing. But I want the Cursed Cowboys to put more pressure on the.
Ooh, and Lucio Horde extremely low there, but he's going to get out himself as well, as they just do not have the damage to take him out there.
Honestly, I think Lucio needs to try to figure out what's going on and play safer. Maybe not box the Serb as much. Just try to keep yourself even like the Medusa Sobek should be doing in dual lane. Cynic is rotating a little bit. He's down a level right now. I like that from skills, farming up, trying to get an advantage in mid lane.
Yeah, and especially against, Scylla's early game is not the strongest, so you really got to be trying to get in there and force something, against that Scylla while they're still weak and while they're still vulnerable, because once that late game comes, it's going to be a lot harder.
It's going to be a lot harder, and then on top of that, once Scylla gets the higher levels, you go into your house, it's only going to keep you alive from either I'm a Monster or the Crush. It's not going to keep you alive from both.
Yeah.
So, and also, in the end of the day, your house is going to probably be used to get rid of one of the CCs on the enemy team. So, you might want to try to look to pressure the Scylla out a little bit more. But also, why is the Wingers ADC still getting his purple buff? He's being challenged at the purple buff right now. But at the end of the day, the solo lane is getting pressured hard and getting pressured out. So I want to see this purple buff get invaded more.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% here. Like, they need to be, they should be playing around the leads and trying to create a lead for this Honor here. He is a good matchup in a Medusa, can do a lot of work. He already has a little bit of a lead himself. I think we should really see it, but Wheelish coming around, gonna be looking for some. But we see the Blink come out, and Mr. Peanut's left nut is not in the best situation here, but it looks like Rogue does not have any more cooldowns. He's just got to hit some autos here, but he is just gonna run away. Oh, but the Wheelish is coming down, and the dash is gonna come out, and Rogue is gonna get the solo kill on the Honor here.
That was a great play by the Awilix. No, waiting for his to jump. But also, great awareness from Honor not to insta-jump when he got pressured out by the Awilix. And also good reaction times on the beads. It was just that Awilix counters on her, and that was the result at the end of the day.
Yeah, and if Honor isn't able to hit those autos there, he just is not. He stands no chance in that fight. Like we saw right there. If he starts hitting those autos, Wheelish was at half health, and he missed like maybe 4 or 5 autos. That could have done it. He could have won that fight there possibly if he had hit those.
Yeah, he could have possibly won that, but at the same time, Medusa's getting pressure out here in dual lane. I like to try to re-aggress onto that dual lane, but I don't think Gilgamesh has the same solo potential that a Wheelix has on an Honor into a Medusa. So I don't agree with the call. They didn't really do anything with this aggression. Purple is still a few seconds away from spawning, and it looks like the red team's rotating over right now.
Yeah, the red team is going to come in here. Wheelish going directly onto that Honor here, but he might not be in a good position to do anything. His horse is going to come out here. The pillar is coming down, has no health here, and the ultimate is going to go down. We see a 2-man Medusa ultimate is going to try and help, but just too little too late, as they are going to pick up the return kill on this Wheelish here.
Yeah, I don't know why Silly didn't make the rotation there. I think that was the perfect time to make the rotation because Purple Buff was being invaded. You knew where they're going to be. And then, on the other hand, I think Wheelix could have probably pressured out that blue buff one more time instead of helping, and it would have caused a lot more problem for this Cursed Cowboys. But at the end of the day, you made the play, and it didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, you see, Scylla already was a little bit behind, and going in on a rotation like that could have put her more behind than she already was. So I can understand not going for that rotation and instead of just grabbing some of that farm they did end up grabbing, because then they were coming back in here. But Lucio looking to be ganked himself here. GA Seraph trying to hit the puck there, but RDO is just too fast for anything to happen there. He's just going to get right on out of there.
They're putting a lot of pressure on this Lucio. They haven't really got a kill on Lucio either. So what they need to do is gank this on her again. Feather steps on her, jumps away.
Ooh, Honor jumps away. They did get the Wheelish ult out of there. What I really liked is he turned around when the cat came out and didn't get knocked up there, because if he got knocked up, it was just game over. So I really like how he did that, and then also to get the Wheelish ult out while you're still beads. Really nice from him overall, and he got out of there and got a lot for it.
I like the Williams attempting trying to pull right at the last seconds of the beads. He just ulted just a tad early. A little later, maybe it's a pull on Mr. Peanut, and Mr. Peanut may have died. So I like the
possibly.
attempt. I like the attempt. And then also Medusa, they're putting a lot more pressure trying to keep Skipper in the game. I like earlier that they were putting a lot of pressure on this blue buff. I want to see it return, because now Honor is getting a level lead on Medusa because you keep rotating and splitting that farm with Medusa. I think you're hurting Medusa there. You might want to chill back and relax. Let Skipper stay even. Farm back into it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you 100% there. That's exactly what they need to be doing. You know, Skipper is about to get that Odibo online. He's about to, you know, try and let him farm his own way back into this game, because I don't think you're really going to be able to force your way into it. Because if you do, then they might just be able to get Lucio, you know, ahead, or really just try and exploit something on the other side of the map. You know, and I agree, but we see Sneaky Dream is going to go in here, but he is in a very bad spot here as Rogue is going to pick up the kill here. Baba Yaga House is going to come down here. They're all low. Skills is going to chase him down. They are going to miss the Scylla ultimate, and they're so low. Skills is trying to get in there, and he's going to pick up the kill on the GA Seraph, and he's also going to be able to pick... Oh, he's not going to be able to pick up the kill onto Rogue here, as Skipper 13 is going to put him in that bad spot, but Honor is going to come out with the clean ultimate to come out there and kill him, but Skills in a bad spot. He just used his dash, and Cerberus ult is going to come down here. Ooh, the ultimate comes out, but it's just not going to be able to hit anybody as they get out of that Cerberus ultimate.
Overall, I think it was a great fight from both teams. It started with a pick that snowballed into 3 people being super low because they were grouped up for the Baba Yaga 2, they were grouped up for the Baba Yaga 1. And then the Scylla ult was a nice zoning tool to make the Baba Yaga take a step back. But they should have just kept leaving. They should have let GA Seraph die, and Rogue stayed to try to keep him alive, and he paid for his life as well.
I really liked everything Skills did there up until the very end, where he used his dash to get into the fight, and it ended up costing him his life, as he had no way to get away from the Cerberus.
He had no way to get out of Cerberus ult at that point. I don't agree with jumping in there either. And then at the end of the day, I think Medusa making that great rotation, which got him a second kill. It was, at the end of the day, it was a 2-2 split for the kills. What do you think, Muffin?
I mean, obviously, it goes a little bit into the favor of Cursed Cowboys, because they were able to come back around and they were able to snag some of the farm, and get that gold side Scorpion. So obviously, it goes a little bit into their favor, but it should have gone way more into their favor, and they kind of just ended up, you know, instead of taking the 1-for-0 or the 2-for-0, they kind of got a little greedy and took a 2-for-2 and got Scorpion, and they could have just taken the 1-for-0 and got Scorpion, or they could have just taken... Honestly, they might have been able to get away with the 2-for-0 if they had not and taken Gold Scorpion. So it's a little unfortunate on their side. They put a little bit too in there, tried to get a little too much going, and you know they ended up biting off a little more than they could chew, but they still did get a little more out of the situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think at the end of the day, you greeted too much. But hey, everyone likes getting kills at their back camps. That's morale embracing, and then also demoralizing the enemy team. You're dying at your back camps. You're like, it's only like 11 minutes in the game. Why am I dying at the back camps?
Yeah. And it looks like this pause is going to be a little bit longer than expected, so we're going to go into a quick break here while we wait for the game to come back. right back into it as they're trying to aggress on a Lucio Horde once again, but he's already out of there. They are not going to find anything onto him. But maybe they could go for a little bit of an invade here. They got 3 members over here. They're trying for something here as we see Cerberus going in here, but they're gonna try and start collapsing onto him, but they don't know that the rest of the team is here and they're ready to go. Sobek is gonna go into his ultimate. He isn't gonna hit the pluck, unfortunately. But it looks like Sneaky Dream's out of there, and Lucio Horde is just trying to get out of there. But Camazotz is taken, is going to try and go in directly onto the Cerberus, and they're not going to hit the knockup, just barely. But Baba Yaga's here. They might try something. Gilgamesh going directly back in here, and they're going to, take Rogue ever so low, but not find anything. As Skipper gets the solo kill on her there, well, all that is going on in the right lane.
That was a lot of nothing in that fight, but at the end of the day, the Wingers got the Forp and got a solo kill on the dual lane side. That's a big solo kill from Skipper. That Forp is now, maybe your ADC now goes in for a rotation for the Pyromancer, Fire Giant. Gold Fury's even up. So
yeah, I mean, they got that solo side there. I wouldn't be surprised if there's, the tower's going to get poked a little bit. Honor's going to miss 2 waves, so he's going to end up transferring that level lead over to the other side, and Medusa's going to come back with that level lead. And that's what we were talking about earlier, is that Skipper has to claw his own way back into this game here. It can't be... if Rogue tries to force it, they would just lose pressure on other sides of the map, and they're able to establish that pressure on other sides of the map, and that lead has come back into Skipper's favor, and he clawed his way back into this game.
Cursed Cowboys, they're going for this Gold Fury, and I don't think a single member on the Wingers know this is happening right now.
No, there's no chance they know this is happening. It was completely from under their noses, as 3 members of the team were on that side of the map, and they just had no clue. And that's going to be really good for Cursed Cowboys. It's going to get them a little bit of a gold lead started here, and possibly be an interesting spot from the Wingers. They don't have any wards set up on really much on anywhere on this map here. It doesn't look like they have very many wards at all.
But on the reverse end, I think the Wingers are about to pull a secret Pyromancer that the Cursed Cowboys don't even know about. Both teams giving them objectives. That's not a very smart things to do on either side. And at the end of the day, I like that the Cursed Cowboys got the gold. That's a way bigger objective to get than a Pyromancer. But as we see the Gilgamesh rotating to dual lane side.
Yeah, Camazotz is get a throw on a little bit of something there in the mid lane here. He is going to get plucked, and a Wheelish is going to come down, but the Scylla Crush is not going to land. But they are in trouble. Scylla also going to miss here. Horus Dash might have been able to get him out. Horus is extremely tanky. Seraph could actually be the one in trouble here, as he might have gone a little too deep as the house is coming down. Gilgamesh is going to come in there as well, as Lucio is trying to find something, but Sneaky Dream is going to be the one to get it. Another 2-man Medusa ult could transfer this into something big. On her misses the pillar stun here, but the ultimate is going to come down, and Skipper is just not in a good position. The Aegis is coming down. Lucio Horde trying to find the kill on the road, but Skills is going to pick it up. Cerberus looking for revenge here on his fallen teammates, but he is just too little too late to accomplish anything there. And Cursed Cowboys is going to get out there with a clean 3-for-1 mid-fight there.
I prefer to say, like, Scylla, I think, needs to just hold that ult. You're not using your setup off of it. You're trying to freehand it. You have Sobek Pluck. You have Serb. They're all rotating over. You even have it on Wheelix ult. Wait for your team to set up for you to use that ult. Even using your 1 to set up for yourself is a great idea. I think a lot of that was on Cynic there, but at the end of the day, I like the way that Cursed Cowboys fought there. They came in right at the right times, making the right plays. Also, over aggressing there on the mid lane. After Scylla missed her ult, you just need to back up, knowing that you can't really win the fight against a Baba Yaga early. At level 20, I think you can win that fight at that point, because Scylla is amazing at damage at that point in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you a little bit there. I think the Scylla should have waited here, but actually it looks like they're going to go directly in on Lucio Horde, but Sneaky Dream is there. The ultimate's going to come down, but Lucio is... Oh, Rogue actually, it turns out to be in a bad spot, as he is going to go down. Sobek's going to come down here, but there's 2 tanks here. Ooh, a nice stun from Fable coming out there. Ooh, but Fable also in some trouble here. He is going to be CC'd, but he is a Cerberus. He's tanky enough to get out of there, and they are going to back off. So they got that. They got a nice one for O, and they're going to go look for some farm to invade, but unfortunately all that farm is down. So maybe they come on down to this mid lane and try for some. Scylla used that dash. Lucio looking to capitalize here. They're instead just going to go and pick up this tower. Good compensation.
I think Rogue's over. He's the one initiating. That means everyone's kit is still up. You're an assassin. You're not as tanky as a Gilgamesh. I would love to see him tone it down. I love to see the wingers tone down the aggression a little bit, but don't let them have it. And as you see, the Cursed Cowboys starting Fire Giant.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to start it out here, but I don't know if they really can, if they have the damage to really do it. It looks like they're being zoned off very hard, and the wingers might not even know that this is happening. Rogue is going to try and take a little peek here. It looks like they've finally clued in now as they come in here, but they are going to start shredding this. The Baba House is down. Mr. Peanut's left nut is going to come out here, but the Scylla Crush isn't going to do it. A little too late, and on her ultimate is going to secure it. And GA Seraph looking to try and come in here, but he is a Sobek against an on her, and I think we all know who wins that fight there. Cynic in a very bad position here. They're going to get a kill picked up, but it looks like we see a pause come out here at a very interesting moment. A DC is going to come out, but honestly, that was such a missed opportunity from the wingers there. That Fire Giant was so free for them. There was no real secure other than that on her all in. There's just if just waited one more second on that Scylla all, we'd be seeing wingers coming out here with the Fire Giant. But for the Cursed Cowboys, this is exactly what you wanted. You snuck the not really snuck, but you snuck most of the Fire Giant and were able to, end up securing it and turn this fight. And we don't know exactly, the fight isn't over, but Cursed Cowboys are going to win. They've already won this fight. They're just going to be running down trying to get a little bit extra off of the wingers here. And it's just really unfortunate that they were not able to secure that with the Scylla ultimate.
Yeah, and then also Scylla jumping in deeper after not getting the Fire Giant. That's now 2 picks. Sobek was going to pay his life for you. You just need to get out, let him pay you his life, then reset, get ready for defense. Because Sobek's so far behind at this point that his respawn is probably like 20 seconds. And a 20-second respawn on a support means he can come back up and defend a tier 2 for you right after they win that fight. And then also on the turnaround is maybe 100 HP that Fire Giant had. I really feel bad for Senate. That would have been a great play to have in your highlights.
It would have been an amazing play, but I understand that. I think you have to as well. We both played the mid lane role. There's a lot of panic when it comes down to securing and stealing, and it's just something. I don't know if Cynic is necessarily new to the role. I know he played carry last season, so maybe he is new to the role, and myself especially, I've noticed that securing objectives is something that's a lot harder than what gives credit for, and there's a lot of pressure when it comes down to it, especially when it's in a moment where you could change the game and really put your team in a great position.
I mean, changing the game like that would have been huge, but there's so many times where I've tried to secure an objective, and after I hit the button, it says 12 HP, and just a chalk walks in with Mystical Male, takes it, and just walks out. It's not the greatest day when that happens.
You're always playing, whenever you're playing in casual games, and just the stupidest thing steals Fire Giant away from you, like RDO 3 tick, and it's just like, it's always the worst feeling. So I definitely you got to be feeling bad for Cynic here, especially because he has to sit through here after this DC and just kind of wait.
I mean, at the end of the day, at least it was for the steal, not try to secure. Imagine you lose it to an on her ult when you're supposed to secure it. That would feel bad. But at the end of the day, You went for it. If you would have got it, that was great. But the lack of wards from the wingers is, if they were there, they could have been there on time. The wards were, if they were there, they could have got there as soon as they started the fire giant. They didn't know about it because they saw 3 people run at them. Like, oh, that's not a big deal. They're not going to be on fire giant. But the horse sustain and on her can do a fire giant relatively easy by himself with a horse. So, just misplays from the wingers. They keep letting eject wingers. You know, at the end of the day, Cursed Cowboys is paying. They're making these smart calls that the wingers don't even know about.
Yeah, and I think a big issue here is we've been looking through this game is the warding from the wingers. I have yet to see a map that was fully warded up by the wingers. And when you look at the wards, you'll notice where the wingers should be warding, you'll see blue wards. The blue wards are the Cursed Cowboys. You know, they're getting really deep vision here, and I think that's a big reason as to why they've been able to shift around the map and really control what's going on here, because there's just not enough wards from the wingers, and the wingers have been out-rotated because of it. That's why we've seen Rogue get in a lot of trouble when he initiates these fights, because he didn't even know that there were 2 people waiting for him to do it. And we've seen it all across the map in the mid lane fights, and especially on that solo side, there is just has not been any ward coverage there at all, and that's what we really need to see if the wingers want to turn it up and turn it around in this game.
Maybe it has something to do with like ADC. You know, if you fall behind, you don't want to ward. And Cynic, he used to be an ADC. Maybe that habit's coming out of him a little bit. Maybe it's the support. Support maybe not warding. I mean, supports can only ward so much. They got 2 wards. He's got a bracer, so that's one of his 2 wards. Where's the other 9 wards going? As we can see, it looks like blue wards. Maybe they're handing them their wards, warding for them. That double agent?
Maybe, because I'm just not seeing what the wingers need here in this game. And if they really want to come back in this game, that's the first change that they need to make is to just get wards up on the map and take what they can get, because this fire giant is going to create a power play that's going to start a huge gold lead, because there's a lot of towers up that Cursed Cowboys are just going to sweep the map around and go take.
That's a lot of gold going to the Cursed Cowboys, which that's refunds for their wards that they've been placing. It, you know, it's a net positive. When you're warding, you're making such great calls, getting gold furies. One gold fury already paid for all the wards you bought. The Pyromancer, you got surplus of money, but you're behind, so the money they got refunded for all their wards is now added to it. You're not buying wards, you're getting behind. Maybe there's a thing or two. Maybe you need to buy some wards and keep yourself alive.
You know, and they have that hidden value where wards are always worth it. And this is something that I myself have had to learn, that they are just always worth it. The value you get from them is so much more than that 50, and especially if there's sentry wards, that 125 gold that they give you. The 125 gold is often I guess a fake cost, because most of the time you're getting some money back when you destroy one of their wards. And so it's so valuable. It's so much more valuable than what you gain, or than what you lose gold wise. And I think that's and I think this I think it's just being a little bit of an issue.
Yeah, certainly. Like, they may be bidding $120 a ward, right? But at the end of the day, if you're not spending any money on wards, that's a vision that they got, that if you do place, they get money for it. And if you're not placing wards, well, they know you don't have a ward there. So they're getting ideas that, oh, maybe you're not warding, and then they can just make crazy calls like a Gold Fury call at 12 minutes into the game. What are you going to do about it? You don't know what's happening. And it's crazy thinking that maybe they're going to lose the game, because I think they made a lot of great plays together so far today. But if they're not going to ward, Cursed Cowboys are making unit calls, not individual calls. Rogue going in by himself, getting caught out, dying. Cursed Cowboys are making unit calls. Like, we're going to 5-man Gold Fury here, and they don't even know about it. We're going to go over here and Fire Giant. We're going to have 3 people zone them out, make them think that we're not doing Fire Giant, and then do the Fire Giant. crazy calls like that are going to win you the game when the other team's not warding.
Yeah, and I think we've hammered in, that last point enough. So we are going to go into a intermission until the game comes back. All right, we are back, and we're seeing the Cursed Cowboys collect on their rewards here. They're going to start going and sweeping in these towers and, trying to collect on that Fire Giant fight where they just got a lot off of that. And we already see a 4K gold lead down. I'd be surprised if by this Fire Giant we didn't see a 6K or even 7K gold lead once they've swept all these towers and, the power play has been put down.
7K gold lead, I think they should get from all the tier 2 sweeping that they're going to do here soon. That's going to be massive, but the best time to fight is right after they get that last tier 2. They don't have that money for it, and if you're going to fight at all, the last tier 2. If you're not going to fight, then let them have it set up for the next fire, but they're going to do gold right after that second tier 2, that third tier 2. That's going to be a lot more money that they're going to have.
It looks like they're going straight in for it. They're going to see the Willishaw come down, and Mr. Pina, and we see the Honor All come out. But it looks like they're not going to get anything off those two ults, and this puts the Wingers in a very bad position. They just use Cerberus and a Wheelish ult, so there's nowhere near as much setup for the Scylla. Skipper going to come in with a raw ultimate. Camazotz is going to get hit by it, but Rogue is going to go down from Sneaky Dream, and Rogue is in there all alone, but he is doing a ton of work there. Skipper on a very small lick of health here. The house is going to come down, and he is going to... Oh my goodness, everyone is surviving with just the teeniest bit of health here, but they will be able to capitalize and pick up this mid Phoenix, even though they weren't able to get any kills off of it.
Might be aggression, but after you use your 2 ults, back up, reset, wait for the tier 2 on the other side of the map. They just kept going, and people kept getting lower and lower and lower until Fire Giant's not healing you up. The other team got the Fire Giant. They're constantly healing. The longer you drag the fight out, the more health everyone effectively has. As you see, they're looking to fight this for this gold fury.
Yeah, Wingers is coming out. They're going to look to start a fight here, but this could be a mistake. Scylla Crush already going down. Oh, we see Horus Ult coming in on the back, and Mr. Peanut's left nut is in there, but Wheelish is going to get a nice ultimate on her, but Honor is still alive. Rogue is going to be chasing him down, but he is in the middle of a bunch of people there, and they are going to... Oh, it looks like not yet. Cynic is going to pick up a kill on his own. Cerberus getting in there, but he is going to be slowed down by Camazotz. Cynic trying to get in there as well. GA Seraph in a bad spot as Camazotz and Llama are going to try and go directly on into him. Cerberus could also be in a bad spot. We see him starting to get collapsed upon here. Wheelish coming back around from behind, though, trying to impact here, but he is going to be knocked up, and the ultimate is going to come down. They are going to pick up the kill on a Wheelish, but they are going to get the return kill as well. The house is coming down, and Cynic is going to go down from the house, but Cerberus is looking for revenge here, and Cerberus in there very low here. Skills uses the dash, but that Fire Breath is still coming out there. They're going to miss his next 2 abilities, and Skills is going to pick up the final kill there, and just really phenomenal play from him as he navigated that team fight excellently.
The Cursed Cowboys weren't ready for that second wave of aggression that the Wingers gave. I don't know why they kept pressuring there, because losing that fight means you lose that game. So they got lucky that they took out 3 players. That's great. They got the ADC down, they got the jungler down, and the solo laner. Now, that's going to run out the rest of their fire, but they're still down a Phoenix from their first fight. So they're not going to have too much going in their way. But the Wingers, they got some of the things they need to get back. They got the gold. They got some of the kills that they needed. They didn't get the gold Fury, but they got the gold from the Pyromancer. They're going to get the Scorpion over here. They're resetting some of the gold that they lost.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just not enough. It looks like we're right on the money. They have that 7K gold lead, and they're gonna have to struggle. They're really gonna have to find a team fight where everything comes together. I'm talking a Scylla ultimate that just goes absolutely insane, where it hits 2 or 3 members of the Cursed Cowboys from a Cerberus setup or something like that. If they want to get back into this fight, because I think there still is that path. There still is the ability to have all those things come together. And really come in and have them win the fight, but come together, and the wingers really have to execute what their plan is.
I just want to highlight both mid lane builds. Neither one of them have percent pin here, except the Ratatouille from Baba Yaga. Maybe that's impacting Astilla's damage. There's 3 tanks on the other side. Astilla's one of the best tank shredders, but if you don't have percent pin, that extra percent pin you get from your 2 only does so much for you.
Well, that Warlock staff also does have a little bit of percent pin, but Cynic already having to be forced to go into the ultimate, and he is not going to get anything off of it as he misses, and he is in a very tricky spot here. He's going to dash out, but Lucio is on the chase, and he's going in there. Rogue also in a very bad position here, as on her ult is going to come down. A nice ultimate coming out from the Cerberus, but it might not be enough. Skipper is going to get a lot to come down here, but he is going to die as well, and so many members are dead. We see a current 2 for 2. Lucio Horde is very low, but can they save that mid Phoenix? There's fire minions directly on it. Rogue is trying as hard as he can, and maybe, oh, it is still going to go down. Winion's really helping out Cursed Cowboys here with getting that mid Phoenix. Well, they kind of lost that fight. As Mr.
Peanut pulls the fire giant, I don't think he can do it by himself. Maybe with the horse or the RDO he could have done it, but man, like losing, he tying the fight even, and losing that Phoenix means you lose the fight. So
yeah,
there's no point in fighting there if you're just going to lose the Phoenix again. You don't let them have fire giant, but you just don't let them murder you guys and get a free Phoenix for it. Because now they let the waves push up as they do a fire giant dance, or Serb gets caught out here.
Yeah, Serb in a tricky situation here. His jump is down, and so they could definitely do something. His ultimate is going to go down, and that is very big for Cursed Cowboys. You know, they now have that, you know, they have that period of time where Cerberus can't really do much. You know, base Cerberus kit isn't going to be nearly as impactful, and it's going to be a struggle for him here. And I think they make the correct call by running in this fire giant.
I think they make the correct call indeed with the Serb. As Cynic, he goes into his ult looking for the steal.
Oh, Cynic going into the ult looking for the steal, but he missed the perfect opportunity off of Skipper's ultimate that had a 2-man stun here. And it looks like the Cursed Cowboys are actually in a little bit of trouble here, but they are going to get the fire giant secured. They're going to back away, but they lose 2 members of the team for it. And that's really not what you want to have happen as the Cursed Cowboys. The wingers are starting to be able to mount a comeback and look to get back into this game. As they have a little bit of time here, even though Cursed Cowboys have that fire giant, it's still a 5 versus 3. They can still, you know, put some presence on the map, but those minions are attacking the attacking the Titan here.
I think if you wait long enough as the Cursed Cowboys, you can just start running at them, yellowing it, and this is going to be game. Like they're doing right now on that tower. Cynic misses an ult.
Ooh, Skills is getting in there, and he's 3v1 all alone, but they're all so low. He might be able to pull something off, but it's not going to happen. But if you look, that Titan is taking half of its health bar. You know, this is, you know, and those minions are coming back. We have yet to see anyone back here. Rogue is finally going to back, but I feel like it's just a little too late here. You know, Cursed Cowboys now have the opportunity to just run it down, and with the Baba House that could come down, if they don't stop them before they get into that Titan room, I don't think they can stop them.
They're going to have to fight outside the Titan room after how much damage they let happen to the Titan. But they got fire off of everybody. That is a win. That it pretty much just resets the game, except there is still a huge gold lead. 5k down. Actually, it's 28 minutes. It's not really a big gold lead, but Gold Fury is still up. I would love to see Cursed Cowboys pull it as soon as their Hunter mid laner gets back up. But the wingers, I don't agree with the call necessarily, but I agree with it in the sense that they got everyone up. Nobody has fire left.
I think just Rogue needs to back there and clear those minions, or someone needs to back there and clear those minions, because I think they would have been able to do the same thing, and they also would not have that big mid lane weakness of their Titan being at no HP. Now, granted, their Phoenix is going to come back up pretty soon, so you know that is a big benefit, you know, for them is that the Phoenixes will be back up by the time that they can run that down, but. You know, they're in a scary situation here where anything could go wrong.
Their Phoenix, I would back right now after you get all these buffs and make sure your Phoenix stays up, and then you can win these 5v5 fights if you work as a unit. Some of these times they miss some abilities here and there because they're pulling each other. Maybe the detriment is they're pulling people too far for the Scylla. The Scylla's they're not calming correctly, so they're pulling too far. Scylla's missing abilities because of it. Maybe they need to calm down and calm what they're about to pull, or when they're doing a Cerberus ult, Sobek pluck. And then also on that Fire Giant fight earlier, I think they got the 2 picks, but at the same time, it looked like Cynic wanted to go for the steal. The rest of the team wanted to fight on their front line. You can tell there's different communications pulling from 2 different sides. They need to try to start working as a unit.
Yeah, and if Cynic had just noticed, you know, that perfect Medusa ultimate that would have came down, I think he would have just gotten the reset anyway and have been able to double dip there and possibly do both.
As we see, they're sieging this left tier 2.
They're sieging this left tier 2, but we see a 5-man Cerberus ult come down here, but the Scylla ultimate is still not going to be able to hit anything. Lucio Horde is in there in a little bit of trouble here, but he's an RDO. He can tank for quite some time. All of the wingers are about half health, but Cursed Cowboys just lose RDO, and they're not going to get anything off of this. Oh, but they are going to come back around, look to come back in. Green buff just respawned, so that's massive. Scylla's going to land a nice little crush onto Honor here, and they're going to stun skills. They're still trying to go in here, but they're taking a lot of poke here. Honor is in a very bad situation. Rogue's going to try and capitalize on it, but he is not going to succeed as they are diving right into this backline. Skipper is going to be able to dodge enough of those ultimates to survive, as well as use his Aegis, and this is kind of just, you know, it's good for the wingers. You know, they're holding on a little longer. You know, their Titan's back to full health now. Their Phoenix is regaining a lot of that health. They lost a tower, but at this point in the game, that is not important. What is important is that they're all starting to get to that level 20 area. All the important people are already at level 20. You know, just the supports, and the supports still have that impact beforehand. They can all get their upgraded starter items, and I really think that if you're Cursed Cowboys, you're in a tricky situation here. You know, diving is very difficult onto a Cerberus, especially when he can actually just counter-engage on you.
Yeah, diving there was questioned, but at the end of the day, it was a 4v5 in that left lane that they won because the wingers were too scared to step outside tower. It's a 4v5. You got a Scylla. You can step outside that tower and flex. Flex all you want right there, but don't play scared. You can flex.
Yeah.
You can say, look, there's 6 of us here. We got a tower here, but the longer they poke you, the less health your tanks have. And then you saw what happened. They get a free pick there, get a tower. I would love to see them just play aggressive there.
Yeah, I mean, I just happen to agree with you. You know, they're in a 4v5 situation. They've been winning these team fights recently. You know, get out there and you know, make something happen, because if we were in this situation, they could be fully set up for that Fire Giant and really trying to pressure Cursed Cowboys into something, or really trying to pressure this Fire Giant or get the map vision required or anything like that. But instead, you know, they don't really get anything. They don't really get anything and just kind of lose their tower.
Yeah, they lose their tower, and Cursed Cowboys are starting this Fire Giant. The wingers are backing up. I don't necessarily agree with this.
Yeah, I mean, they're being a little cautious here, which makes no sense. That Fire Giant is getting lower and lower. Cynic's going to go up into that ultimate, and he is not going to be able to secure it. Now it's a 50-50, and the wingers are going to end up getting it anyway. Lucio Horde's going to pick up the kill on the Cynic, though. Rogue in there on her very low. The ultimate is going to come down there. As Rogue also very low. Lucio's going to try and dip in there, but he is going to die first instead. And this is really bad if you're Cursed Cowboys here. Skills has got to make a play happen, and it's got to be now. They have EFG. They're coming in here. Looks like Kamazotz is going to try and make something happen. And speaking of a play, it looks like he came here to make it, as that kill on Skipper is absolutely huge for the wingers, right? Or for Cursed Cowboys right there.
It looks like it's going to be another stall fest here as they start going to push down mid lane. But you didn't have to die there, Skipper. You could have just played safe. The Wingers, right after that sell didn't secure that Fire Giant, everybody on the Wingers said, Fire Giant, we're diving it now. We know it's super low. The Cursed Cowboys didn't look like they were ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, it just seems like, you know, they're failing to secure these, but they're also not ready for any of this. And GA Seraph is going to get knocked up, but the ultimate is going to come down from the Cerberus, and Mr. Peanut's left nut is in a tricky situation here as he is squeezed between some of these members here. But Skills is going to go into that ultimate, and it's going to put some damage down, but it's just not enough here, as that Cerberus is just too tanky for him to do anything, and the other two members are too far away from him to do anything. So they're just going to back off and take this Oni Fury here.
The Wingers still haven't done anything with the Fire Giant, but they got 5 members up now. That's the big part, but Oni Fury is done by the Cursed Cowboys. More stalling. This game is becoming who can stall longer. But at the end of the day, what do you think that maybe the Cursed Cowboys could do to win the next team fight?
I mean, really, what depends on, you know, if they want to win these team fights, one, they cannot be getting engaged upon. They really desperately need to be the engagers and need to be the aggressors, because that's what we're seeing. They are just not able to do anything, and you know, it's because they're not engaging, and then they're trying to dive. If you're a dive comp, you need to actually dive. You cannot be getting dived upon. It's just a death sentence for your team comp. And they have the comp. They have a way that they can win this game, but I'm not seeing them execute to that. And I also really want to see a little bit more Horus action here, like we're seeing right now. Cynic is going to get knocked up here, and that can be really bad. He's all alone here in a 2v1 situation. The Aegis and the Dash is going to come down here. The teams are split. Skipper in an even worse situation here, as the ultimate is going to come down, but they are going to beat it, and Skipper is going to go down here, and that's really big. That's exactly what you need. And Cynic is also in a tricky spot here, and that is exactly what they needed to happen. As the Cursed Cowboys, they're going to go clean up on GA Seraph, and it is going to be a nice 3 for nothing from Cursed Cowboys, and they just got to run it down that left side. I do not think that Cerberus and Wheelish are going to be enough. Even though they have that EFG, they are going to struggle against Cursed Cowboys, who just want to run it down that Titan. And Cerberus is on the wrong side of the map. Rogue is waiting in base, but Cerberus, you know, he cannot be there. They need to be on this Phoenix here, and trying to do something. They're gonna have to try and fight him off in the Titan room, but they have a lot of shred with that Baba Yaga. Lucio's gonna go in. He's gonna go in on Rogue. That ultimate is gonna come down. Cerberus doing a lot of damage, but his ultimate's now down, and they're gonna start going towards this Titan here. Gilgamesh coming in here. Baba Yaga doing some damage. Skills is gonna pick up the kill onto him. Ooh, but Sneaky Dream in a little bit of a tricky situation here, but the Titan is going to go down, and Cursed Cowboys is, after 37 minutes, going to take down the Titan.
No one looked left. If anyone looked left, they would have saw a Horus looking at them, watching the serve back. And then the serve, once he fully backed, Horus hit 4, and it was that was the fight. There was no serve. They were like, we're taking this 5v4, we're going to win this fight, and then we're going to run it down the Titan. Great call by the Cursed Cowboys. The Wingers, they should have saw that the only ways were pushing up. They should have all backed as a unit, not one person back. It's just a whole bunch of misplays, and you can tell we hammered it home earlier. There's like no wards, like your jungler, your ADC, and your soul laner. They barely combine to do as much as your support, and that's not looking very good when Kamazotz was taken alone, outwarded those 3 players. That's what I think you need to do as the Wingers, is get that early game going and ward up.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the biggest adjustment is the Cursed Cowboys were able to get that lead, and even though the game went so late and went so long, I think if the Cursed Cowboys had just taken a little bit more advantage of the lack of wards, this really could have been, you know, a 22, 25-minute game, somewhere in that range, because there was just nothing that the Wingers were doing to contest, you know, these objectives until it was just in a position where it was easy. And you know when they're going to be on Fire Giant after 30 minutes of the game, because where else are they going to be? And if I'd like to see, that's the main improvement. I'd like to see the wards. I'd also like to see more communication on these team fights. It seems like Cynic isn't capitalizing on the setup, and I think that's probably because there isn't the community. There's a little bit of a communication barrier on the CC. I'd also like to see Skipper stop position a little bit better in these fights. Sometimes we see him in spots that he really shouldn't be in, in the middle of the whole team. And that's really a lot of the team fights they ended up losing was just because of just bad positioning in the team. And welcome back. We are going straight into these game 2 picks and bans. Cursed Cowboys up 1-0. Getting right in here. We are going to see actually a quick switch up around as the wingers are going to have that first pick here. And we're just going to kind of have to wait and see what's going to change in this game. Do you think that there's any picks that they need to take away? They're going to immediately take away that Gilgamesh.
Picks that they need to take away first is definitely like Gilgamesh. He looked like he did a lot in that fight. Maybe even the Ardio ban. Them two running it down together, one of them I think needs to go. You need to get rid of that tandem. I think Ardio is the better ban. And as the wingers, I don't know why they banned the Persephone. Last week, Cynic showed that he could play it. Maybe they have something else up their belt that I don't know about. What do you think, Muffin?
Yeah, I mean, if your first pick, you always got to make the enemy ban Persephone. I think that god is way too strong, and I played it for the first time in a scrim, and it was just way too easy. Any mid laner can play that god. It's extremely strong and does an insane amount of damage with an insane amount of utility. And I think forcing the enemy team to ban that is, especially important. Definitely when you have someone who can play it and play it confidently. If Cynic is like that.
Now you see the Serb and the Ardio ban. The teams that played the character ban it, and then you see the Hell locked in for the wingers. I think this is a flex pick between Cynic and Fable in the solo lane. I would love to see this Hell do a lot of work.
Yeah, I mean, we saw it banned in the last game, so I have to see, what the reason was for that. We've seen Hell do a little bit in the SPL in the solo lane, so I'm wondering if that's gonna go there. Obviously there's that flex potential between solo and mid, so we'll have to see what's going on later in that draft as things continue on. We'll get a more clear picture of where exactly that Hell is gonna go.
Yeah, and then also I like waiting on this pick here. Odin's available. I probably would not have first pick to Hell if you knew Odin was up. Odin's probably just going to get insta-locked in here. Now,
there it is.
There's still a Circuit on the table. You might have to ban it later. Osiris is still available. That's not looking very good for this Hell.
Yeah, and if you're playing against a Hell, Odin and Osiris are two gods you're definitely going to want to lock in here, as that Osiris 100% anti-heal debuff and the Odin cage looking very bad. So looking very bad for Hell. We see Sobek also going to get picked in here, and I'm wondering a little bit on if that Sobek is what GA Seraph is most comfortable on, because I've seen him pick it a lot this season. Throughout both this game and last, and maybe it's just a team strategy that they think has a lot of value, has a lot of setup, or maybe it's just what he's most comfortable on.
It's also one of the best picks. Also, anti-heal. Maybe they were looking at something else, but realized that if Sobek also ends up on that Cursed Cowboys, is not going to look good for that Hell. Hell's going to have every counter picked against her. I like picking this Sobek here for a lot of reasons. He's played it before. You get behind, he still gets protections from his passive. He has innate healing for himself, even though they have 100% anti-heal on two gods on the other side. And then you see the Merlin locked in here. Very good at spraying Divine Ruin. So if your Osiris misses the ult or your Odin ults and it's not on the Hell, you still got that Divine Ruin proc from Merlin.
Yeah, and honestly, I love me some Merlin. He's my favorite mid lane god of the game. And so I always love to see him come out here and represent. And I don't think it's a bad spot to do it. You know, you got the Odin cage for massive void stances. If we see a tanky outcome here, maybe that fire stance could come in a little bit of tank shred. So we'll have to see how that really impacts the draft strategies. He's got some of the best tank shred in the game. But going directly into those bans, we've seen that Kuchelin and On Her ban coming out from both of them. How do you feel about those?
The On Her, I mean, Mr. Peanuts left nut.
Mm-hmm.
He played it last game. Take it away from him, see what else he's got, and then the Kuchelin right there. I think it's a great ban. Personally, I think if you want to get rid of something that can outpressure an Odin, I don't know if he actually outpressures the Odin, but if your other soul laner is 100% comfortable on it, just get rid of it and see what else you got. And then the Fenrir ban here, I like them getting rid of it because you're not gonna really pick it because you got the Osiris, you got the Odin. Which one of them's gonna go jungle? And then the Fenrir also Beads Burner. You got Sobek, and they still have a soul laner available. They could go hard CC here, and you won't have enough beads because you have a Merlin.
Yeah, I'm not so certain about these soul lane bans here. I would have gone with 2 jungle bans as we could see that Hell actually ended up being a Hell solo here. Wait. Okay, so we see an Achilles jungle as well. So the that Kuchelin ban, that Achilles, we see that Hell ended up being a soul lane pick is what it looks like, and so the Kuchelin was a little bit of a wasted ban there.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a wasted ban, but maybe it's better safe than sorry. Maybe they're thinking about flexing it, but then you ban the Kuchelin, and they're like, "Now you just take the Hell. I have nothing else left to play." And then picking the Scylla up here, a lot less setup from last time, but now you got the Achilles. That's gonna be aggressive for you. Maybe you get off the Achilles stun and bam, right into a Scylla ult. Then the Han, play it safe. It's an Izanami. And it also counters her. She can't just run up to you invisible like she could on a Cupid or an On Her. I like that pick. I like the Fafnir pick. It really works for your team. And then you got the Osiris that also works with the Fafnir. A lot of setup for Merlin. I would love to see what's going to happen with the Wingers draft.
Honestly, I think the Cursed Cowboys draft is better. You know, that Odin is going to be really strong into the Hell. Sobek and Achilles can't really get out of that ultimate. So they're gonna struggle a little bit. A massive Odin cages could come down, especially because they're looking to dive once again. You see the Odin, the Osiris, the Fafnir, all very strong divers, and I think that Fafnir was an especially strong pick to really round out the draft from Cursed Cowboys to solidify not only the dive, but also they have a ton of objective shred with that Merlin Osiris Heimdall. And I think that's going to be a big part of coming in there. But we're going to hop straight into the game right here and kind of finish a little bit of that conversation up is what do you think blue team, or the Wingers really want to do, to counter the Odin cage, to counter all that stuff?
Team, the Wingers really need to pressure this duo. They got the Izanami, they got the Sobek. Your Hell is in really a lot of trouble there, and on the solo lane side, they got the Osiris and the Odin who are right there in front of you. And then the Achilles is going to be able to execute people, but at the end of the day, you need to run it down this dual lane. You can't lose this dual lane side.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think obviously, it's a little pointless to really gank a Odin, as Odin just never dies to ganks. So I'm not surprised here. It actually looks like we're gonna have a quick sub in here that I just noticed. Papa Nike is gonna be playing support this game.
That might be a good switch, and also nice beads by the Peanuts left nut. That is some beads that now you won't have for the next 160 seconds. As Achilles blinks in on the Osiris. Osiris is half health. Scylla crushes on the mark.
Osiris is a very tricky situation, and Rogue is going to pick up the first blood of the game onto Sneaky Dream, and that's not what you want to see, you know, if you're blue team. And we see another pluck coming down here. Izanami trying to get something going here, missing some autos here, but they are going to pick up the kill here. Fafnir also in some trouble, but it looks like he's, you know, he's a Guardian. He's got, you know, he's got that base tankiness. He can tank a few solo autos. He'll be fine getting right on out of there.
Loving the pressure that's coming out of the Wingers. The Wingers needed this early pressure. They need to be on the front foot, especially when they have a Scylla dashes in. She misses the Sikkim, but she gets the crush off. Almost gets the kill on skills. And then the Hell, well, right now you got pressure on the Odin, but level 5 is going to come around sooner or later. And I won't be surprised if Osiris ganks her soon.
Yeah, I you know, once again, I also would not be surprised to. It looks like Papa Nike's getting in there again. Cynic in some trouble still. Izanami dashing in, and they're gonna try and get that kill onto the On Her or the Fafnir, but it looks like it's just not enough damage there. A few missed autos there could unfortunately have been the reason that they're not able to get this, but they still have a ton of pressure. I would not be surprised if they're coming around if they try to invade this purple here, but it looks like Osiris is going to try and help secure that. They're going to go for it anyway and maybe find something here. Osiris isn't going to have an escape, and Izanami is going to go in there. He's trying his hardest to get some of that damage down, but Osiris is going to be able to just walk on out of there, but he's also going to have to get back as Rogue picks up a kill on the Odin in that solo side, and now we're seeing some pressure on both sides of the map from the Wingers.
That's not very good, especially when your Osiris is in left lane and then your Odin gets killed. As Odin, he shouldn't never really be killed. But the Odin did have a teleport. I don't understand how he died, but hey, at the end of the day, you have the teleport. You didn't lose a lot. You only lost the blue buff, so it's not a massive lead gain for the Hell. And then your Scylla exerting a lot of pressure onto this Merlin. All three phases of this side on the blue team is winning, and you would love to see that if you're the Wingers.
Yeah, you'd love to see it. It's a little questionable for me. Oh, but it looks like Mr. Peanut's left nut is in a tricky situation, but he is going to be able to crystal out of there, and that's, you know, very solid from him to recognize that he needed to crystal out of there. I'm pretty sure he used his beads as well, so if you're Papa Nike, it is field day right now. You want to be getting even more pucks, and honestly, I would stay on this duo side a little bit longer. It's been working extremely well. You're getting a ton of pressure coming out here, and I would not be surprised if Skipper started out with a 1 or 2 level lead.
Skipper's going to get a massive lead from all the pressure they're getting on that dual lane side. But my big concern right now is this Osiris hasn't even looked the Hell's way. He's been level 5 for a good 30 seconds now, but he hasn't even looked onto that right side of the map. And if they don't get a kill soon on this Hell, what's the point of picking the 2 counter picks if you're not going to go after the person you counter? As we see here, dual lane is pretty farming up. They're looking for this invade. This time they have 4 people over here instead of the 2 because the Osiris was there last time.
And I mean, they're just trying to catch him out in case they go over here, but it looks like it might end up happening as Rogue is going to go in there. Scylla coming down, and they are going to hit that ultimate here and the execute as well, and they're going to get a nice little kill set up there, and they've got to go straight to that Scorpion. If I was Izanami, I'd stay and try and get a lot of that tower poke, but looks like they're all going to run towards that Scorpion and just take that right on out of there. Get that farm going in a really good rotation from the Wingers here, starting them off with a nice 3K gold lead at 5 minutes into this game.
Hey, if you got to get early pressure to get your comms working on all cylinders like they were right there, then get the early pressure you need. They're working on all cylinders right now. Soul lane's getting pressure. Their mid lane's getting pressure. Their jungler is able to free gank. I would want to see the red team here get some wards out. They definitely need to find some vision and try to make a game-winning fight or get a fight that they need to win out soon. Yeah,
they've got to get that vision out, secure the farm they can, because if they don't, I mean, we're gonna start to see that snowball rolling down that hill, and you know, once that starts, nobody wants it to stop. So they could be in a tricky situation here if they don't start going in and you know, putting their nose to the grindstone.
Hey, they still secured the red buff, so they have at least one camp on the map that's still theirs. The green buff and the yellow buff, of course, are the other two. But you really need to start trying to find a way to win a fight here. And I think the biggest thing is hammer home the counter picks. You need to look at the soul lane. You have two Odin cages out, but for the defensive purposes, not to kill the hell. Not what you want to see if you're an Odin.
Yeah, I would really like to see Osiris put some pressure on this side of the map, but it looks like he's just been too busy, currently getting chased out of his own back camps here. And if you're blue team, this is exactly what you want to be doing. Working up with that support here, trying to get some stuff going here. Osiris going to have to ultimate out, and that is just rough because he's going to get fought off of his own back camps and start to get put behind early. Camazotz is going to try and go in and steal a little bit of that for himself, but it's just not going to go too well, as he himself is going to be put in a situation where he's going to go down as soon as he lands.
And then Izanami does a streamer gank on the Heim on the left side of the map, which is... This is not looking very good if you're the Cursed Cowboys. Maybe you're not comfortable on some of these picks that you picked against the Hell. Maybe you should look at the Circuit if you're comfortable with it. Maybe some other gods have a few anti-heals. But Skipper might get caught out here for doing that idea. And then he gets a solo kill on Mr. Left Nut. Oh my god.
As well as Rogue getting a kill on the other side of the map. This 4K gold lead is looking dangerous. If I'm the if I am the wingers here, I'm going to take this Fire Scorpion, and then I'm going to set up for gold. Because right now, you are in a position to snowball this game. And if you want to snowball, you got to be grabbing those objectives and running it down the map. Ooh, Scylla is not going to be able to land the Scylla ultimate there. Skills' beads are going to come down. And now he's free pickings to the Achilles as well. As they're already in that back camp. Rogue could try something here. He's going to go in for the blink here. The stun's going to come out. Ooh, and they are going to be able to pick up the kill onto him. And Sneaky Dream is going to try something here, but he's just too low of a level to really accomplish anything here, as the rest of the team is going to be able to come in before he does anything, and they're going to come around. And if I'm them, you know, this is when you start up that Gold Fury. You've got to kill up on skills. You gank that side laner, you just start up that Gold Fury.
Dying at your tier 2 before 9 minutes is not fun. Right now, if I'm Cursed Cowboys, I'll just be looking at a way just to get through the game. Get ready for game 3. There's still ways you can get back into this game, but tilting should not be one of those things. If you're starting to tilt, just start mentally clocking out. But I think, personally, put some pressure somewhere. Like, invading this blue buff right now, getting the farm back here. You lost the Gold Fury. Get the farm. Get what you can. 5k down at not before 10 minutes is a high % chance that you're going to lose this game. So try your best to get back into this game. They're gonna start going for those tier 2 tower plays again, right?
Yeah.
Catch him out at the tier 2. 5-man gank at that tier 2. You're safe because now you can just walk into your tier 2 and be safe.
As you said, it's a high % chance, but you know it's never zero here. As they've got a strong late game. They've got some strong components here, and a nice Scylla ultimate coming down, and Papa Nike's gonna finish that kill off. And as you know, this is not what they need to be doing to get back into this game. And getting into this game, it's got to be a little frustrating, and they've got to calm down, assess the situation, and really try something here. You know, we could maybe get something going here. Skipper's a little low, but he's just going to be able to walk away as those minions are going to come out and really help him out.
If I'm the Cursed Cowboys right now, one of the things you need to do is either shut down this hell, which you have the picks to do, but you need to get the manpower over there. But you also, there's deep wards this time for the wingers, which means now it's on the back, it's on the other reverse foot. Shoes have changed foots. The red team, they have deep wards, but why do you have deep wards when you're 6k, you're going down 6k, making it 7k on after this Scorp?
Yeah, I mean, deep wards, you know, if they're gonna help you in the sense that you're gonna know where, hopefully hopefully they'll know where Rogue is, because right now Rogue is is kind of going ham here and trying to. And you know, he's 5-0. You want to know where he is at all times, so you can know I need to get out. Because if your rogue is, there's a high chance that some kills are about to go down, and if you're Cursed Cowboys, it's not going to be for you guys as the trend has been.
The Sobek gets a pluck onto the Merlin.
Ooh, and they are just going to put him in a terrible spot, and Rogue is going to pick up another kills, as we just said earlier. Where Rogue is where kills go down, and he is doing a phenomenal job of just being all around the map here. Skipper is going to go in. He's missing some autos, but he is a few levels ahead. And it looks like it's not going to matter, as he's just going to hit a few more of those. The tower is going to go down, and this is not where you want to be, and they are going to take him down with the minions, helping Skipper finish that out. And ooh, a nice Odin cage, but it's not going to be enough as Hell comes around. Scylla is going to throw down that ultimate, but it doesn't really matter as they're going to back away, and they might be going for Fire Giant or Pyro here, you know. This is what you got to be doing when you're this far ahead. You're 8k gold ahead. You know, get the Pyro, set up for Fire. You know, Skipper is on his way to try and attempt something. He's going to go in on that Merlin here. Rogue's going to start zoning them off so they can, you know, secure that Pyro nice and easily.
Here's from minute 1, this 3v3. As soon as Sobek has rotated, the Scylla, the Achilles, and the Sobek are all together. They're diving tier 2s together. And the Osiris did not get a lead. The Merlin didn't get a lead. There may be farming keeping up with them at levels, but the other 3 are making impact one side of the map, and then 30 seconds later on the other side of the map. You need to calm them down somehow.
Yeah.
Maybe pick, when they're on one side of the map, get a pick on Skipper. If they're on the other side of the map, get a pick on the Hell. Focus one of the side lanes. 5 levels on the ADC is not looking too good.
You know, and not to go unsaid, this Sobek is what you have to worry about. He has been all over this map from minute 1, has been making his impact known, and has really just shown up in this game, and, you know, instantly got those beads out before the first wave, you know, had even finished. And ever since then, he's just been grabbing beads and making an impact. As I say that, though, he's just going to miss a blink pluck and take a little bit of poke from Merlin.
Hey, he took like 30 damage. You can miss one pluck every once in a while if you're only going to take 30 damage. There's no capitalization on that. I mean, nobody was in position for it. But at the end of the day, you have 2 counter picks into this Hell. Hell has not even died. Something needs to change. Maybe a little bit of different shot calling. Maybe they weren't comfortable on some of these picks as the Scylla ult comes out to secure the Gold Fury.
You know, and a good secure from Cynic. You know, we failed to see that earlier in this game, but it looks like he's going to start to turn it around and really try and start going here. But the Odin cage is going to come down, but it does not seem to be for the right reasons here, as that Hell is just going to be able to get out of there, and Rogue is coming in here, and he's starting to get this fight go down. Papa Nike is going to pick up the kill there, and Odin is extremely low. They're looking to pick him up as they are zoned off, and they've got to take this mid tower by now, right? They've dived it like 4 times. It's got to go down eventually.
10k at 14 minutes, and they're adding more gold to the fire. Is not looking too good for the Cursed Cowboys. Maybe their yeehaws are gone.
Yeah, I mean, you know, every Cowboy has to use last haul at one point, and this, you know, they're struggling in this game. It's 17-0. You know, they're taking this Fire Giant at 15 minutes. This is not only, you know, an early Fire Giant. This has got to be in the top 10 earliest Fire Giants in Reap history. As they're going to go down a little bit of a missecure from Scylla there, but it's not going to matter at all, as Red Team can't get anywhere close to that. They're 12k gold down, and they're just really struggling right now.
I mean, they're doing exactly what they need to do, which is push that left tower. He's going to need to back soon because they're all backing, and they're probably going to try to push left lane. But if I'm Cursed Cowboys right now, you need to try to find a pick. Like, I've been hammering this home, but at least go down with a fight. Get something out of it. It's better 1 kill than nothing.
You know, and you know, I'd like to agree with you, but it has just been so hard to find anyone on the wingers alone at this point in the game. They have been rotating and moving as a unit, and if you do not want to get picked, that is how to do it. Because I mean, how are you supposed to pick someone if they're guarded by their whole team?
Yeah, and not to mention, like, Scylla from game 1 is not the same Scylla, and it's Cynic. Cynic's still the same Scylla, technically. Maybe he just had a bad game 1, and if you're the wingers, well, I would love to see that from a player. Like, you have a bad game, go right back to the same pick and have a great game with it. I think, personally, this not looking good for the Cursed Cowboys, but Sobek was right there out of position for a little bit, but you're not doing any damage to Sobek. Who do you think they can get a pick on out of this team?
You know, I mean, obviously there's the Hell. The Hell's got a lot of pick potential on him. Is they're the squishiest target. The squishiest target that can be Odin caged. Obviously, just, you know, Scylla and Izanami, just because they're squishy, can always be picked out. You know, a good CC chain on them can always go super well. But I'm worried that they'll not get that opportunity. We see right now they're all going in here, and that Odin cage is gonna go down, but it's gonna be immediately blown up here. Kamazats is going to Fafnir ultimate, but he's going to beads the Sobek plug a little too late here and take a ton of damage for it. And they are rotating towards this left side of the map to finish off this last tower. And you know, the gold lead is still somehow growing. You know, as Cursed Cowboys can't find a way back into this game, and I don't blame them. They're in a really tricky spot that most teams cannot come back from.
Honestly, I would love to see Heim just trade his life for that tier 2. Make them go all the way to kill him. Buy time. Like, your team needs to farm, and if they're not farming, well, they're not going to get levels. Like, Merlin and Scylla are even level. That's the story of this game, right? Like, the jungler, the Sobek, and the Scylla, all three together are just roaming the map, and they're making one side down. Like, your side lanes combined are 0-10. That tells you that the mid, the jungle, Rogue's not getting picked out this time because he has his team behind him. He's like, we're going over here, boys. We're here.
And you know, he's 2 levels ahead of everyone. He's got an interesting build that gives him a little bit of tankiness and a lot of power. You know, the Pridwin, the late fighter's mask, which is a little interesting to me. And you know, some of those item choices are very weird to me, but it's working out for him. He's doing a ton of damage here as he's top damage in the game. He's 7-0, and he's not gonna die anytime soon because that Pridwin.
Yeah, the Pridwin gives him a shield every time he ults. First time he ults, he gets a shield, and then getting the beads from behind here, that's not a good look here. And then as Merlin gets caught out in mid lane, oof, this is not looking too good for this Phoenix defense. And Odin's not here to stop the Hell's healing. I think you have to just give this mid Phoenix up.
It looks like they don't want to, but this Phoenix is going down very quickly. Sobek is going to go for another pluck, and that mid Phoenix is going to go down. And if I'm, it looks like they're going to back off and grab some farm. A little interesting to me to not push the issue when they seem so dead set on it, but they're just going to go get this Gold Fury. Lucio's still split pushing that tower, which is why I'm a little surprised he didn't just go and try and get all the Phoenixes. They had already gotten a pick there. You know, Skills is still dead. It was a 3v5 in that situation. They really should have put some pressure on something more than a gold.
They got a Gold Fear. I think they're just going to reset, go fire, play it safe. I mean, I would play it safe too. You got 16k gold. Maybe you pressure a little bit on that left Phoenix, but fire's coming up. What if no one shows up to defend that Phoenix and they get fire? Now you can't really pressure issue. So I can see what they're calling here. Not a bad call. But I would love to see him take that Phoenix. You got 16k. You throw one fight. They can't even end the game off that one fight.
I mean, if you throw a fight, you have a 13k gold lead. It really has to be either a stalling of the game for this game to turn around, where red team can't end, and that's something that we can see here. If they take one more Phoenix or take two, if they get all three Phoenixes, I mean, essentially their victory is secured after the Fire Giant. But there is still some room, although it may not be much. There is still a tiny little bit of wiggle room that that Cursed Cowboys can do something. And so stalling the game is not what I want to be doing if I'm the Wingers here.
I wouldn't want to stall the game either, but it's better safe than sorry. Like if you bag, they can only really take your tier 2 as you take a fire. And if they're trying to take a Phoenix, you can trade Phoenix and the Titan. They can't trade the Titan because that's the king of chess. You can't trade it. So they need to understand that maybe put the pedal to the metal here and look for a good fight here.
They see the one Archer minion come in there, and they're going to blink directly in there. Crimson's taken is going to get a nice ultimate, though, but he's going to have to back right off to help out his team. Skills is very low, but they could be getting their first kill here. Oh, Osiris is trying his hardest, but they are not going to be able to get him there, as Hell is going to start healing him up, and the rest of the team is in a very bad predicament here, as they are all going to be struggling to get anything done. They are going in here. They're chasing, but maybe they should be focusing a little bit more on these objectives here, because this Phoenix could already be down if they had wanted to, but Lucio's in a bad spot. He got crit, and he is going to go down as Skipper is going to pick up the kill. Oh, and Sneaky Dream is also going to go down when they finally clean up that kill, but he had the shoes on for a little bit here, and that is going to be the end of this game here, as there is just absolutely no chance Skills can do anything here. This Titan is going down extremely fast here. That Syl ultimate's going to come down, and Skills is just not going to be able to pick up the damage there, and that's going to go straight into game 3.
A 22-52 game, 23 kills. They should have waited 8 more seconds to make it a perfect 23-0 across the board. But that was definitely a one-sided affair. If I'm Cursed Cowboys, look what you did game 1. Replicate it. Don't go for the fancy top picks if you can't play the top picks, because you just got 23-0. If I was ever in that shoes, I would never ever want to play the game again.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is when you lose this, when you lose like this, is to first take a breather, take a minute. You need to recover your mental, sit down, and take a breather, and then come back, and then talk about what went wrong. Because if you just go into what went wrong, everyone is already mad. They're already frustrated. It's never fun to lose a game like this. I know. And so, you just got to take a minute, take a breather, detilt a little bit, and then come right back into this and try and make a comeback here. What I'd like to see from them is the last game, we see there wasn't really enough wards here, and I know it's hard to ward when you're behind, but you've got to try and find those situations to do it. They've got to be a little bit more careful on these jungle rotations, because that is really what killed them. Is early on, Papa Nike had that pressure lead in duo lane, and Rogue was getting pressure in that solo lane and mid lane, and so really there was not a lane that was really doing anything. And with that, we're going to take a quick break and wait for game 3 to start. All right, everybody, and we're coming into the last game of the set here. We got Cursed Cowboys versus Wingers. It is 1-1, but the question on everybody's mind is, how is Cursed Cowboys going to come back from that 23-0 that game right there? How are they going to be able to do that? And it looks like the first step is to just get that Hell out of there. Hell had played a big role in why they had no kills. When you're trying to kill someone and they're just getting healed for half their health bar, it's difficult to kill them.
I 100% agree with that. I'm glad they took out the Hell. The Wingers took out the Ardu, who was the big problem in game 1. We're seeing these teams adjust, I think, well and accordingly what they need to. But I want to see more emphasis on the early pressure from Cursed Cowboys, because when the Wingers got the early pressure, they were able to run it down, and they ran it down to where you had 0 kills. I think that's a great idea to not let them have early pressure.
Yeah, and that's I mean, I 100% agree with you. That early pressure is just it was just too strong, and I don't think they could really handle it. And the Sobek coming out here, and I'm not surprised at all. As soon as Pop and Nike came in here, in this support role, it was a complete shift in play style. GA Seraph's a lot more peel oriented, and then Pop and Nike came out here with the guns ablazing, running it down. Trying to get everything going, but it looks like that Gilgamesh is going to be able to come back here, and Sneaky Dream did very well on that Gilgamesh, so we'll have to see how that translates into this game. But what scares me is that Scylla and Odin combo pickup.
The Odin, great pick. It's going to force some picks that Cursed Cowboys probably don't want to take, and then run back to Scylla. You ran it the first 2 games. It didn't look bad in either game, really, and you pick it again, game 3. I don't like picking it up right now. Maybe you could wait until that pick right before the ban, because you're leaving up the Izanami that you were running really well last game. And Mr. Peanut didn't look like he could handle the Izanami pressure.
Yeah.
But now if I'm Chris Cowboys, I'd be looking at that Izanami. Don't let Skipper have that Izanami again. And you see a Nike pick up here. I'm confused about this pick. I don't know why you would pick it here. Normally, it goes all the way through all 10 picks every game. You don't have to pick it in the top 3. But now you showed your hand. You have a Gilgamesh, Nike, Serb as your top 3 picks. One of them's going support, so they don't have a lot of peel. I think that's a big problem.
Now, I'm going to make a fat call out and say this is Serb support. Because I had Camazotz as my support for 2 seasons, and that man Cerberus is one of his best gods, and he's very strong in it. So I would be very surprised if they ended up giving him that Nike or that Gilgamesh over that Cerberus. And that Ymir pickup, I don't like the Ymir here.
I don't really like the Ymir here either, but you have the Odin cage now that can block Serb from putting you too far out of position. Now you have the Ymir wall as well. If one of them 2 are out of the Cerberus ult, Odin can hit the 3 and just be out of the Cerberus ult. I personally don't think the Serb was a great pick. I don't think the Ymir's a great pick into that team, because Gilgamesh is going to bully you, Serb's going to bully you, Nike just can keep pushing you back and laugh at you while she's doing it. But if Poppin has a great Ymir, this is going to be wild.
Yeah, and there's still the possibility of it. It could be that solo lane pick here. I doubt it. I think that Odin is going to go solo, but there is still that potential. And I think because we already have 3 leaps, the Ymir isn't too impactful, but we could still see some great gameplay come out of here. The Odin is going to force leap, and the Ymir can maybe clean up on that. So we could be seeing a little bit of that there. But looking at these last set of bans here, they're going to ban the Baba Yaga and the Nox, which the Baba Yaga is something that Skills performed really well on, and the Nox is something that historically has always been one of Skills' comfort picks. In Season 2, he was playing it a lot and doing a ton on it, and so I'm not surprised on that. And then the Izanami ban makes complete sense. Had to get rid of it. And the Awelish ban, when you have 3 leaps, banning Awelish makes sense.
Banning the Awelish makes sense too when you have an Odin. The only way out is out over or under the cage. Awelish can pull either one. And then the Izanami makes sense. You got destroyed on it last game. Get rid of it. Don't let them have that early pressure in duo. They grab the Apollo. They're dual lane. I would love to see something that beats the Apollo here. Disco, I like the Disco pick here, actually. Like, it's a jump out of the cage. The ult, however, does not go through Odin cage. So you could have an apple that goes right back to your face. Maybe Lucio can eat the apple for you. Who knows?
Warriors, to battle!
Yeah, I mean, I do. I also like the Disco pick. It gets out of the Odin cage. The CC immunity could really come in handy if the Ymir's walking towards you, or if the Achilles is walking towards you. And now we're in a weird situation, so that Achilles is probably going to go back in that jungle as Rogue. Already did really well on it. We'll have to check his build again. Keep an eye on that, because I wonder if he'll run that build back. It was very interesting it was an interesting combination of items. So I wonder if we'll see that again, or if we'll see him go more traditional Odin jungle build. We'll just have to wait and find out in the game. And running that on her back, I really like that. 5 leaps here, definitely a good idea to ban the Awelish. They can all get out of that Odin cage. They can all get out of the Ymir wall, but will they be able to deal with the Apollo and the Hercule and the Achilles and all that kind of that global map pressure, as well as with the wingers being able to rotate so well last game? I wonder how they'll be able to situate and deal with that.
I also think a lot of the combo is going to be the Odin Ymir together.
Mm-hmm.
When you jump out, Ymir's going to throw up a wall right where you land, and now you're going to be stuck there.
Mm-hmm.
And if Scylla can follow up on that, Achilles can follow up on that, that's going to be nasty, because now you're stuck to another wall, and you can't go back where you came from because there's a cage in between where you came from. So there's only going to be one way out if the Ymir can place the walls perfectly. But on the other hand, Cursed Cowboys, I think from their mental from last game, I hope they can change it, but the Serb can pull people to the Disco Apple. Odin, most of his damage is off a jump, so if that Odin gets hit by the Disco Apple, he can't really do anything. Same with the Achilles. Or if you hit onto the Scylla, she can't jump away. That could be a lot of counter pick right there from skills. I want to see how he utilizes it. And then this on her pressure. I like the pressure in the dual lane. Don't let Skipper free reign and solo you a lot.
Well, we're gonna have to see how all that goes down as we get right into this game coming up here and transition directly into it.
Minions have spawned.
So going in here, obviously there's not really another start here. I'm a little worried that we won't see that same early impact in that dual lane. Apollo Ymir is just not the same as Sobek Izanami. It's a different level of pressure that Sobek and Izanami can pull out of here. So I wonder if that'll be a big factor here, coming in here into that.
The Odin going Shillelagh here, I'm not really sure, but it does have 400 HP when you fully upgrade it. I'm not too sure about it, but it goes really well with Warrior's Axe. I would love to see how the build transitions from here.
Yeah, I'd like to see it as well. Obviously, maybe there's that Blackthorn start. It's gotten buffed quite a few times, and Odin does historically have some mana issues, so maybe that could help out. Ooh, but that freeze is gonna come down here and put a lot of poke onto this on here, and he's in a tricky spot. Another one of those could be the end of him here. He's already at that half health marker, and looks like that pressure is not lost. They are still putting in ton of that pressure here on this Ymir. And we could be in a bad spot here as Papa Nike is gonna get pillared, but he's gonna and he's not gonna land the freeze as they are gonna use that jump to get out of there. We see Gilgamesh coming in here from the side, looking for some. Papa Nike is not gonna be in a good spot. We see his one come out twice here, a little bit of a lag spike, and Papa Nike is definitely gonna come down here as he is finally gonna go down to that gank.
Like that gank from Sneaky Dream. It shows that the team still has their mental together and they're willing to work together still. That was a great rotation. I want to see more of it, but also at the same time I want to see Rogue here pressure out either the mid laner or the solo lane.
Yeah, speaking of that, it looks like he's gonna gank that solo lane here and try and get something in here, but Lucio is on that Nike. He's just gonna dash away and get right on out of there. And this is something that I was talking about earlier. This is why I don't really like that on her pickup from Cursed Cowboys. That is a weakness right now. On her is very vulnerable in these early stages of the game. Yes, he has a lot of kill potential, but it doesn't matter if he's a double-edged sword. You can also get killed very easily as Ymir.
Yeah, the Ymir pick, no matter how far behind you are, is still going to have the wall. If he's leveling the wall, that wall will persist and make a lot of mayhem. But at the same time, if you're going to get behind, don't get too far behind. Try to stay even. Last game he farmed really well, but that was a 23-0 game. Any support can farm really well in a 23-0 game, other than the losing support.
Well, I mean, you know, I agree with you, and so, you know, we'll have to see because he's already a little bit behind. So, you know, catching back up into this game is gonna be, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see how he accomplishes that. And it looks like Sneaky Dream is coming right back in on the action, and Papa and Nike could be the target here once again. Skipper putting some damage down, and that double stun is gonna come out, and a nice knock up into on her pillar there, and they're gonna get a nice, clean, and fast double kill. As a little bit of a mid lane fight comes out here. Ooh. Oh! What is going on? It looks like Skills is they're gonna trade ultimates and both miss them, and Skills is gonna end up, you know, getting caught out, but it's not gonna be enough to take him out. He's just gonna barely live. Ooh, Nike not in a good spot here, but the execute is going to miss. There's a possibility of him getting out here. Oh, but it looks like it's not going to happen as that stun comes down, and they are going to pick up the quick and clean kill.
I like that quick reaction from Rogue, and that mid lane fight was intense. Both of them showing what both gods do best is I can juke here, I can juke there. That was close, and then hitting the disco and the invisibility was nasty from Cynic. But getting that kill in Soul Lane makes it where Rogue probably should keep visiting and try to get the blue buff from Nike. Nike's not traditionally one of the best gods when they lose the blue buff, but neither is Odin. So it's a double-edged sword. If you keep invading that blue buff, but you die one time, your Odin could be long gone for the rest of the game.
And it looks like, speaking of blue buff invades, one of them might have just happened in that soul side of the map. It looks like Odin secured it as well. So Nike's situation just seems to keep getting worse and worse as the soul lane moves on. You know, Fable has really been able to push the leads, even no matter how slight he gets. Ooh. See a little bit of a skirmish come down here. On her also coming in here. And Skipper is going to dash right on out of there, and this is a 3v2 as it still has rotated in. The ultimate's going to come out, but it is just going to hit the air there as no one is nearby. Ooh, the apple is going to come down, but it's not going to be enough as Skipper is going to dash right back into there. He's going to have to use his beads to get out of that Cerberus ultimate, though. And a lot of nothing just happened there, and a lot of ultimates were just used.
I didn't like the fight for the Wingers. The Wingers probably should have took some of that fighting that they were doing there and then transitioned to secure the purple buff. They just kept trying to fight the team that was coming in. Have a few people zone out. Like Rogue was zoning a little bit. That was a perfect opportunity to do purple. But instead they fought for too long and lost the purple buff. It's not that bad of a call. If you would have got some kills there, that would have been a great call to keep fighting. But they didn't really have a chance to kill anybody in that fight.
Yeah. Oh, we see a little bit of a deep invade here from the Onher on that left side of the map. And he's going to pick up the solo kill while still at full health here. That is really strong from him on this Onher here. And, you know, maybe giving him that Onher again was a bad idea. He seems to be doing really well this game. We're going to have to see Skipper try and claw his way back into it again. Ooh, we see a fight coming down in this jungle here, and Sneaky Dream's going to take a lot of damage, but it looks like they could try and collapse. Lucio might have put himself in a bad spot here, but he's just going to walk right on out. Now it's even worse as the rest of the team is coming down here looking for something, but they might not find anything. It looks like they're just going to try and get this Gorp as compensation for their time. Or that's for, sorry, as compensation for their time on this side of the map.
I would love to see Cursed Cowboys get Gorp here. You got a lot of pressure on that dual lane. They're taking this red buff. Great call when the entire team went to the other side of the map. This Apollo needs to watch his positioning as he's looking to get engaged on here. Or they just all part ways after he dashed out. I don't really know what's going on from this team, but the Wingers are still trying to do what they did best last game. Group up as 4 and win side where they're not getting picks this time. And I think it's starting to hurt the Stella level, and it's starting to hurt the Ymir's level. Achilles is still getting farmed because they're invading, and the other jungler's not. It's starting to take a toll on the mid 3v3.
Yeah, but as you say that, Sneaky Dream has done a great job of invading, these buffs here. And so when he's invading these buffs, it's not as bad that his back camps are getting invaded, as he's still able to keep up an XP. Skipper in a tricky situation here, as it looks like they're gonna. Oh, looks like I'm wrong here, as Mr. Peanut is in a trickier situation as Rogue comes by, but he is just gonna dash right on out of there. He's on her. He's safe. There's not really much Achilles is gonna be able to do to him.
Yeah, I like the effort there from Rogue, but you saw the on her not aggressing anymore on the Apollo. Maybe you don't go in for that blink, because he's waiting for that blink noise to jump out. But at the end of the day, Rogue is looking. They're trying to keep pressuring people here, and then as you see that Sneaky Dream's now invading their back camps on the soul lane side of the map.
And that's what you want to be doing as a jungler, you want to be invading all these camps, getting this farm. You take this and then you leave, because what are they going to be doing while they're chasing you because they're mad that they just lost their farm? They're going to be wasting time here. There's no way they kill this Nike here. He's just going to coming around, and Gilgamesh is just, look at what he's doing. He's farming up. He's taking that blue buff. He's taking that down. He's probably going to go to his own back camps, and Achilles is just going to kind of be in a bad situation here, as he's going to get nothing.
Honestly, I think the Odin needs to rotate mid, use that double wall. But as I say, that dual lane's getting jumped on her is in trouble. He beats ults.
Yeah, he's in a very tricky situation here. He's at no health bar and dashing into a position where he is not going to be able to get out, as he is taken down by Papa Nike.
And all at the same time, the Wingers get the Pyromancer. So
ooh, Nike is all the way over there. And he is, Skipper is extremely low, but a nice Ymir wall is going to make them change their minds on who they're going to go into. But you got to keep in mind, Rogue is looking to come here on this Achilles jungle, and they've just used a lot of their cooldowns. Will he be able to capitalize on the fact that they just lost a bunch of their stuff? Ooh, they're going to CC him here, and Lucio Horde could be in a tricky situation, but instead it is Rogue who's in the bad situation, and he's going to go down. But Skipper is coming back here with a vengeance here, and he's going to pick up the kill right on him, as Gilgamesh is going to try and come in there, and he's going to look for the kill on Papa Nike, but he's going to get frozen. The beads are coming down, but they might not be able to be enough, as Kamazotz finally gets in there and grabs that kill. Skills is going to look, he almost had a prediction there. Oh, the golden apple was just barely not able to get it, but he is going to pick up that tower here. Ooh, the ultimate comes down here. Everything is so close, and oh my goodness, neither of them are able to get a kill here, as they're both so low. Why does this keep happening in the mid lane?
Skills is taking advantage of Disco, and the Scylla is fighting back. But also at the same time, that fight that was going on in dual lane, Nike teleported over for it. So Odin split pushes the tier 1 tower. They also got the Pyromancer on that side of the map. That's a lot of ejectives for the Wingers. That would have been a 4K deficit for the Wingers, is now a 2K deficit. I like the play, and then not to mention, Nike loses her blue buff 2 levels down. I would not love to see my solo laners 2 levels down on an Odin. That does not sound like a fun game as a fellow mid laner.
Yeah, and I mean, it's always rough, but Odin, they might be able to get some compensation here, as they're going directly in on him, and a lot of his kit is down. The cage is going to go down, but it is just not going to be enough, as they're going to get right on out of there, and they're going to go straight. They're going to look straight at this mid lane, as they're going to be trying to farm up here, and this is what I wanted to see from Cursed Cowboys. You can see very clearly that they're not tilted. They have reset from that last game. They're communicating and really trying to shut down what the Wingers were able to do in that game too.
I like to see it too. That tells me you have a good mental, that no matter how bad the game goes, you can bounce back if you got a second game. or you got another game. Here, the Wingers, it looks like they came in a little overconfident from last game, thinking you can pick the Ymir into the Gilgamesh serve and the Nike and not get bullied. But at the same time, when you're the Odin and you're pushed up at their tier 2, thinking lolly-da after you just took their blue buff and it's been down for 30 seconds, it's a free goal for you here too. That's not gonna work. You're gonna get picked out there, and again, no wards from the Wingers to know that they're doing same thing from game 1. No wards to tell that they're doing the Gold Fury.
The same issues rising again here, and there's no pyro to try and get some compensation here. Rogue looks for a little bit of compensation there, but he might have just put himself in a very terrible situation. He is in a tricky spot, but it looks like a nice Ymir wall is going to be able to get him out of there. And, Odin also putting himself in a bad situation here. Ooh, and a great ultimate from the Cerberus is only going to get that Ymir, but he is going to be in a very bad spot. Nike's going to go in. The ultimate's coming down. A 4-man Nike ultimate there going in. Apollo is in the air, though. You could see a massive rotation here from Skipper as he is going to pick up a kill onto the Cerberus here. Ooh, this is not where you want to be if you're skills. We have Odin and Ymir coming in here, and this ultimate is going to do a lot of damage, but the Aegis is going to come out here. Ooh, what a nice taunt here. His skills is trying to do everything he can to turn this fight into something good. Oh, and he just does not get his cooldowns back up as he might have been able to get a kill. Meanwhile, down in this dual lane, we're going to see a tower go down from a nice little split push over here, and I really like that call from him there. He's not going to be able to come to that fight. He's not going to be able to, really impact anything on that other side of the map. So take the free objective.
Take the 2 free objectives. The tier 1 was still up before Apollo ulted. That's not good. When you win the fight, it helps the rest of the team out. But like he gets Draugr, tier 1, tier 2. That's a lot of gold that just went to somebody's pocket that you just killed. So now they're going to come back with maybe a Captain America shield at this point. Who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, it looks like we see an intense ward battle coming on between 2 Guardians as they are just fighting for control over the Fire Giant. And it looks like blue team is going to come out on top and keep their ward control over in the Fire Giant pit.
Wingers, they got another sentry ward down. That tells you that they figured out their problems. They're going to ward up here on the right side of the map. Pyromancer, Fire Giant are both up. When this Apollo comes back up, I want to see another rotation from the Apollo, but try to keep on her in your lane. But your Phoenix is now exposed, so you can't stay there too long.
Yeah. 100% here. That ultimate is going to come down, and but the blink is going to come down from Camazotz as Odin is very low, but there is no more damage left on a Cerberus who has no abilities, and so he is just going to put himself in a bad spot, greeting for a kill down there as he is going to go down to this Ymir ultimate. Oh my goodness, he lives for a little longer than I expected here, but Lucio is going in, but he's also put himself in a terrible spot. He does not have his own thing. Ooh, Gilgamesh coming in, and one after another they seem to be feeding themselves into the bait that is this Odin. Skipper coming down in here looking for something to go down here, but he might have put himself, never mind, as the rest of the team is going to come around and they're going to pick up all of them over there. But skills, oh my goodness, he just cannot get any apple luck today as he comes down over here. But you've got to be worried. They could try a Fire Giant here. It looks like they're instead just going to go with Pyro here, and I disagree. There's not really much on the map that can stop you from just grabbing that fire.
Honestly, I think Rogue did so much in that fight. He took the 2 carries for the longest joyride of their lives. They went from Fire Giant to the Gilgamesh speed buff all the way to his support buff at the green. All meanwhile, their carries, their front line, and their support all die in the right lane.
Yeah, and that Odin bait was also just insane. You see the blink coming down here. Ooh, the freeze is going to come down. He immediately beats it, but is it going to be enough? Ooh, the 2 is going to come out here, but Odin is going to land the stun, but it looks like everyone on the team had lost hope on getting the kill, and they are not going to pick him up.
Hey, the Wingers looks like they're back for vengeance. This early game that the Cursed Cowboys have is not looking too good right now. The leads didn't look like they were developed enough. Odin made a giant impact with the 2-level lead that he had earlier on in the game. Now he's even, but he made a giant impact. He got his mid lane. He got his carry back into the game. That's what it is when you got a fed soul laner on your team.
Yeah, and, especially when it's a fed Odin, man. Odin is so challenging and just completely warps the game around his ultimate with how strong it is. So when you have a fed Odin, it becomes very challenging to do stuff. And ooh, Sneaky Dream could be in a bad spot, but it looks like they're just going to let him bypass onto the back line. The Wingers are going to secure the Oni Fury, as Skipper is going to go into that ultimate here. We see the backline getting dove upon, but I don't think there's anything to gain here, as Skipper in the air is already in the air, and he's going to get right on out of there. Ooh, and Rogue is also going to be able to get out of there with his own ultimate. Lucio Horde in a tricky spot, but it looks like Sneaky Dream is trying to help him out. Ooh, and Honor comes up here, but he's not going to be in a good spot. He is going to dash Weaver into a nice little dash, but that crush, ooh, a nice Aegis from the Honor is going to put him in a better situation than what he once was in, and it looks like they're going to be able to get out with some of their lives here on this fight.
Great fight. Cynic secures the Gold Fury. Game 1, he struggled with it. Game 2, he didn't struggle with it. I like that it's transferring over from Game 2, that he's securing these major objectives. I think it's a big tie turning when your Scylla takes the Oni Fury away from a team that was even with you or 1k ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just really rough because Cursed Cowboys spent a lot of time going around trying to set up that Gold Fury, and when it just gets taken away from them, they're in a tricky spot here. They got to clear those Onis. They got to do something. Well, the rest of the Wingers going to kind of do what they want to. They can grab all their farm and then go clear the waves.
You see all these wards. There's only 3 people warding on this team, and in this game, and I guess the Wingers with their mid laner warding is bringing them back into the game. It's not looking good for these teams.
Yeah, I mean, when Kamazotz is warding more than like 3 members on your team, you gotta pick it up. You can't be having that.
But Cynic, he's popping off, and Lucio, the 2 people that were on teams together last season, you're watching. These people are like, I can't lose to my old teammate because I could have drafted him, and then Cynic saying, you should have drafted me, bud. I like to see it when all gloves are off. Final game of the set for all the marbles.
So he's definitely got something to prove here. He's still a free agent, still looking to get picked up here, and he's got to prove that this is my spot. This is where I want to be, and this is where I want to stay. So, if I'm Cynic, I really want to put on a show and a performance, and Apollo is doing exactly what I want every Apollo to do, which is have their ultimate up and go split push a left tower and go pressure a left Phoenix. Ooh, looks like they're going to try and engage here to try and force out Skipper on his way out of there. But the cage is going to come down. The disco ultimate is not going to be able to accomplish all that much there. It's just going to go into the Odin. And Skipper's there. He's ready, but he put himself in a tricky spot. But Scylla is going to come down with some nasty dunks on that ultimate there. And it looks like Lucio is going to try and be able to do something on the Cynic. But that Aegis is going to come down, and then the dash is also going to be there, and he is in a 4v1 situation, stuck between a rock and a hard place. Dash comes out, but will it be enough here? It does not look like it, as he is constantly being put in a worse and worse situation as the rest of the team corners in on him. Ooh, but Skills puts out a nice Discordia too, but it's not going to be enough. Another great dash, and ooh, Skills is just making plays out here on this Discordia and really trying to keep his team in this game.
Frontline, it looked like a miscommunication. When Lucio backed, Apollo ulted over, so Lucio was a little later to the fight. You saw that when Sneaky Dream jumped in there, he was by himself. Kamazotz tried to make up for that, and they both end up falling, and then Lucio's the only person in the front line. And the back line felt like they were getting pressured by Rogue. Rogue ends up dying way later in the fight. When they all feel like they're getting pressured out, your backline's not going to be there to help you. And you saw that with the front line. They got evaporated non-stop in that fight. And then a huge ult from Cynic. Whole bunch of fights went wrong for them.
Yeah, and this is just the cursed Cowboys seem to be lost out here in these team fights. You know, they gotta be more coordinated, especially if they want to win these. You know, we've seen some highlights from skills out here, but if we need to see a coordination, we don't want to see highlights from these team fights. You know, if a more coordinated unit will almost always defeat, you know, one strong, you know, two strong players, and that's what we need to see. We see it feels like a miscommunication on the dives. You know, they're never focusing the same target, and if they really want to get back into this game, that's what they need to do.
I also think if the Cursed Cowboys want to get back into this game, they need to try to fight as 5 before the Apollo ult's over. Don't try to fight as 5 once the Apollo already landed. That means the fight has been going on for a good amount of time. I think, personally, when he was pushing that tier 2, that was the go button. Because you waited so long, your soul laner had to back, and when your soul laner had to back, the Apollo was already halfway there, and he beat the Nike back over. You need to try to fight as a unit, not as 4 individual pieces.
Yeah, and you know, that's 100%. A 5v1, v1, 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 v1 is always going to be much more difficult for the team that is just going in one-on-one versus the team that is 5. You know, there's more abilities to spend. You know, there's more, you know, group health bar, and it's just a lot easier to do. A nice jump from the Honor is gonna save him from taking about 200 damage of poke there from that Ymir. Ooh.
First Cowboys are in the position to pull it, but they're not. They're chasing this Ymir out.
This is really not what I want to see from them here. They're in a position where they can do something. At least they get that tier 1, but they're on that Primal Fury. They really need to be doing something here. You know, this is now or never. I would, you know, Lucio making a fight call here, but I mean, I gotta, you know, the rest of the team is just not there to help. Finally, the rest of the team starts to come in here, but the other part of the team is very close. Skills is, he is gonna hit somebody with the Discordia Apple, and they are gonna pick up a kill. Apollo's gonna get a 3-man ultimate, but it's gonna put him in a tricky spot. Nike is gonna zone off that back line, but it looks like it's not gonna be for very long, as he's just gonna go down, and the rest of the team is gonna have to try and see what they can do without him, as it's a 4v4. Discordia trying to get some damage in, but you know, it's on that Odin, and Odin is gonna be fine. While that, we could see Honor in a bad spot here. He's gonna dash right away from it and kind of just run away, but we see Odin still trying to look for something going in here. Both of these, you know, this 3v3 is pretty low, but it looks like it's gonna turn into a 4v3. I don't really think that Cursed Cowboys want to be a part of that.
The Wingers need to back off right now, but they don't all need to back off. Skipper's still full health. You need to back off like 2 people at a time. Don't let them have the free fire giant here that you almost gave them earlier. But also, Cursed Cowboys not looking like a unit. They're still kind of split. 3 people were still left alive, but they weren't hitting anybody. And the Wingers, they had 2 people in the back hitting the Nike, and the other 3 were killing the other person. And the Honor, the Disco, and the Serb weren't helping them. They need to be in that fight. And not Ymir here is walking in from behind.
It looks like they're going to go straight in this fight. A nice Nike ultimate. It is a 3v5, as Scylla is not really going to be able to do that much. The apple is going to get spread all the way onto that Scylla. She's very low. Gilgamesh going directly in, but Skipper is going to be able to pick up the kill. The backliners are extremely low, but the front line is able to keep them safe as they go in here. And it looks like we could see Honor in a tricky situation here, as he's going to have to use his Aegis, and all that's going to come out. He needs to be starting to lifesteal up here. He's going to go down. It looks like they're going to be able to chase the Odin out of there, but oh man, Cursed Cowboys started that fight off extremely well, and then once again it seems to fall to their own miscommunication. And they are, and you know, Lucio is not going to be able to survive this encounter. He's going to have to just try and stall for as much time as he can. But I really need to see, you know, Cursed Cowboys coordinate, because this is not a team. This is a solo queue match for them.
Honestly, I think Nike needs to pick up the Spectral here. And at the same token, the fights that Cursed Cowboys are taking, when the Wingers take some, they get the picks. They get the extra picks. Then they also get the stuff after the stuff, which is the Fire Giant right now. It's not looking too good when your carries aren't hitting people. Of course, it's an Odin getting out of there. It's a freaking Achilles getting away. After the Ymir dies, the backline is struggling to keep up with the people getting away. But when the Wingers go onto your front line or go into the next people, they don't have the escapes because they had to use them to chase the back line or your front line.
Yeah, and you know, it's just a tricky situation here, and I think that, you know, the Cursed Cowboys can you know, come back in. You know, they're only like 5k gold down. You know, obviously there's going to be those 2 towers taken, which is going to add a little to that gold lead. But realistically, they're very much still in this game. We're getting closer and closer to the point where gold leads are literally irrelevant. And really, what just needs to happen is what's been wrong with Game 2 and Game 3 of the Cursed Cowboys, is that it seems like they're all playing on mute. You know, none of them seem to be talking or calling out what needs to happen in these team fights.
Also, Lucio, he's holding off for a long time. He got that Nike shield. He holds off for a while. Still doesn't have the greatest pin right now. So, or great percent pin. He can live for forever in that fight. But if no one's coming up to meet him halfway or get in range to help him out, all the zoning he's doing is for nothing. Because he can block forever the Apollo basics. But as soon as his thing goes down, he has no Spectral to help him out. He's pretty much on an island by himself when he's diving. But I would love to see that last item be Spectral.
I agree with you 100%. It needs to be. It's a little, honestly, it's a little troll that we haven't seen him build it already. You know, you're going up against the most infamous crit player in the league, and he's building crit. You know, not having a Spectral already is kind of, you know, I mean, there's no other way to put it. It's a little troll here. Ooh, but we see him coming here with a nice 5-man Nike ultimate here. And it looks like they're all going to try and engage. Finally, a coordinated dive, it seems. But the Wingers seem to be ready for it, as they're going to start their counter engage here. Honor is going to come down with his dash already here. They need to back off, but will they be able to? As it looks like it's just going to be, you know, nothing's really going to happen there. And so it's a great stall. You know, if it's an even fight, Cursed Cowboys really get ahead in this situation, as they want to wait out. They want to wait everything out. They want to wait out the Fire Giant. They want to wait out, you know, not much of the gold lead, but a little bit of it. You know, they want to wait all that stuff out.
I'd like to call from the Wingers just back off there. Odin took so much poke. So he needed to just back reset. Fire wasn't going to help him enough. And then you take the Gold Fury. Now you're going to reset and go for this tier 2 on the other side. Fire is getting close to ending. Maybe you just back up to do Pyro, play it safe. But how many times has safe won you a game?
Oh, never. You know, playing it safe is always gonna, you know, it just makes the game go longer, and you know, obviously sometimes, you know, it's worth playing it safe. Ooh, my man Kama with the nice little recognition that he could take that away from him, and that, you know, that's what you like to see.
I think with the miss secure there, you hate to see it, but at least it was a Pyromancer. It wasn't an Oni Fury. It wasn't a Fire Giant. If it was on a Fire Giant, I would dread to hear the comms in that moment, because I've been on that end.
Yeah. Same, 100% same here. You know, I mean, really, he needs to just, you know, he needs to just throw down a Scylla Crush, or anything like that. Any secure really at all is gonna out secure a support. Just pretty much any support if it's from a Scylla. So that's really what I'd like to see.
I like the wingers here. They're grouping up as 5, and they're just going around the map trying to see if they can get a pick. And I think they're in position here just to take this tower. But they got to be careful with, I mean, Odin can hit his shield and not take any damage. That's also a good idea. But be careful on the damage being taken in that tier 2. But they back up. All of them are full health. And Cursed Cowboys didn't even know what was happening.
Yeah, Odin taking a lot of poke there. But the rest of the team is, the Fire Giant hasn't spawned yet, so him taking all this poke is really for naught. But Lucio is going to end up going down as he's going to get deleted there, and the Odin cage is gone, so maybe there's still some potential here. Both your carries are up. They might, I feel like they just have to try something, or else they're going to be ran through with this Fire Giant.
Gilgamesh is trying to sneak on the backside, but it is still a Scylla secure. At the end of the day, so it's going to be very hard to out-secure the Scylla. I like to call it just a backup. You try to sneak in there, but if you can't, you can't.
Yeah.
You're almost going in there with no chance of stealing it anyway because there's a Scylla ult and a 2 on top of it. But Nike building into the Spectral, that's going to help him. He got crit a few times in there right before he got that Spectral finish. He may survive if he had the Spectral.
The Nike ultimate coming down and all that really could have gotten him out of there, or really it could have just stalled just long enough for his team to get a nice little engage there and make something happen there. But unfortunately, he just didn't live long enough. Just a misposition, and really just screwed him and his team over out of this Fire Giant.
But now you're going to see it's 3 Phoenixes. What do you think? I think personally, on the Phoenixes here, you need to let them engage. So find your opportunities if you're served. When the Ymir blinks in, you go in and try to bring the backline closer to Disco and on her.
Something really needs to change here, because at this point of the game, you've tried the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and it hasn't worked once. So we really need to try and find something else, something different to come in here. And a nice start off with getting a little bit of poke there, and I think that could be the change they need to make. But it looks like, the wingers really don't want to let him get that poke. They want to go in there, they want to find all that stuff, and Skills is just off again. He's just going to keep hitting that poke, and maybe that's the strategy here.
As we see, the bubble gets popped, and Honor has to jump out.
Honor has to jump out, and that means they're going to get this Phoenix for practically nothing there. But the Odin cage came down, and it really didn't hit anything. So there is still potential to defend these next Phoenixes if they go in and try and do a full commit here. But it looks like they're not going to be able to do much, as they're just going to get poked out and really not be able to accomplish much. Ooh, Gilgamesh is going to come in with a nice ultimate there, and he is going to pick up the kill onto Skipper 13, but Cynic is still alive, and they have to get him out of there if they really want to stand a chance of winning here. But a nice Scylla Crush is going to come down, and it is really going to turn this fight around. Skill's still alive, trying to put in as much damage as he can. Lucio Horde also looking to pull off some stuff here. He is going to jump out. Skills is going to pick up the kill onto Rogue, and he's going to keep the chase on. Actually, never mind. Looks like he's going to turn around and try and defend his Titan, but they've lost 2 Phoenixes. How do you think they're going to be able to respond to that?
Well, soon you're going to have to try to get out your Phoenixes and YOLO it. You're going to have probably in the next fire. I can see Cursed Cowboys making it an all or nothing call. But at the end of the day, just last week, Wingers lost a game where they had 3 Phoenixes down on the other team. Maybe it's creeping in where that's how the fight happened there, creeping in their minds that like, oh no, we might be doing it again. That can always cause them a little bit of chaos.
Yeah. I agree with you 100% here. Cursed Cowboys are still, they're not out of this game, even though it's 2 Phoenixes down. It's 37 minutes into the game. We're getting closer and closer and closer to that point where we're just running it down mid, no matter where you are, wins you the game. So there is still that potential, especially with Skills. Take a look at that player damage. He is on an island alone at 37k player damage already, and he has 1,000 player damage a minute here. Honestly, impressive from him.
Lucio's really stalled out on the damage part, which tells me that he has not been surviving in these team fights, which means Zisco is on an island trying to do all this damage. Apollo jumped up from like middle of the pack to top 3. Scylla's still putting out a lot of damage. It's Scylla. And right now there's 2 big fire waves of Oni minions too. Maybe you look to try to push the right Phoenix with the Oni fire waves.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what I mean. I don't see a better plan than that, you know. Push that middle Phoenix, the Oni fire waves. If it doesn't go too well, then just turn around and take Fire Giant. I mean, we see Odin coming in here trying to do it all on his own here. He's gonna throw it on his jump here, but I don't see why he's in that position. The cage is gonna come down, but the rest of the team finally starting to catch back up as he is in Odin, and he's gonna be able to survive just fine there. Ooh, Kamazatz is gonna come in with a nice blink. Ooh, the apple's gonna come out as well. Ooh, we finally see Cynic come down here. We could see this turn of a fight. The rest of the team is starting to engage here. They're following up, but these fire minions are not just regular fires. They're Oni fire minions. They're going to come in there as the rest of the team is going in here. Are they going to ignore it? That Titan is going down. Discordia has come back to save him from this Titan over here, but he's going to have to stay as the rest of the team is going to try and get some. An amazing Ymir ultimate is just going to cut the chase there. Oh, sorry. Amazing Ymir wall is gonna cut them off of that, and really just ooh, a Fire Giant call here. I don't know exactly how much I like this. Rogue and Ymir are there, but ooh, Ymir's gonna try and come in here, but he is just going to get crit 5 times in a row there, and they're going to be able to kill him there as those Phoenixes are coming up. Rogue is going to be able to get in there, and he's going to steal the Fire Giant, and he's going to try and ult out of there and try and get out of there. The Odin cage is going to come out, and they're going to be able to get Rogue out of there as Odin is going to come in there and try and do some work. Ooh, but it looks like Rogue is going to come back in here and just die for no reason as he comes back. Odin is going to try and get himself out of there, but they have that EFG helping him now. And that is really bad if you're Cursed Cowboys. Oh, man.
The biggest blessing, though, is Cursed Cowboys. There's only one person with Fire Giant on the other side. You may have lost the mid Phoenix, but you didn't lose the game because your disco backed. If I'm the Wingers, I would be a little upset with Rogue because he didn't have to go back in there. It's probably better that he has it than Fable. But at the end of the day, at least one person on your team has the Fire Giant. It's better than 0. But what a steal from Rogue. That was
100%
highlight reel right there for him. If I'm him, I'll show it to all my friends that play Smite. They all need to know it.
I mean, just an incredible steal. Unfortunately, a little bit of an error in decision making to go back in there when he was already out of the fight, and there wasn't really much potential to turn, but still phenomenal steal from him to try and really solidify, basically shut down the comeback.
Now, another thing the Wingers can do, I think what they probably should do is, last time your Odin lived forever. What if he goes and doesn't do that again? 5 people try to collapse on him. Scylla and Paula, all they have to do is get into that Titan room. If no one's stopping them, that's GG. It's a half-health Titan on a Scylla and on Apollo. That's game. But I like them setting up here for an ambush. I don't think Cursed Cowboys are going to step that far out.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but it looks like they're stepping pretty far out there. And with that Titan, taking so much damage from those Oni fires that were coming down earlier in that game, I don't know if they have the luxury to sit back in their Titan room and really try and let some happen here. Gilgamesh is gonna try and fight with the Odin here, but Odin is just gonna come around behind, taking no damage at all. The rest of the team grouping up on an Odin seems like a bad idea, but it doesn't turn out too bad. The apple, nice, it's gonna spread as well, and they're gonna be able to finally kill that Odin. He's gonna go down, and they're gonna pick up another kill. Scylla Crush is gonna come down here, but it is on Lucio already. He's very tanky, he might be able to get out of there, and a nice Cerberus stun saving Lucio. Skills getting another kill, but Skills is also gonna be able to go down. His skills is also going to go down, and they are going to pick up the Phoenix here. And these minions are running it down. Will they try to end the game? I do not know. Cynic looks to try and end it and make something happen here. Ooh, he's through his ultimate. I don't know if they have the end here, but they are going for it. And never mind, they are going to change their mind and try and get out of there. But, ooh, man. It's a game of tosses and turns. Yeah, Papa Nike is coming around, trying to start something here. Ooh, Lucio gonna capitalize and try and get onto Cynic here. Cynic is gonna turn around. Oh, and they are gonna be able to get the end. Oh my goodness, what a way for it to end. Wow.
What? Apparently Poppin and Cynic have a 10,000 IQ that I don't have. I would have just said walk out, be safe. Hey, I said earlier, safe doesn't win you games all the time.
I mean, I don't know what to say. They really just went. They did it. You know what? They just said what could go wrong, and then they turned around and they put they pulled themselves up by the bootstraps and they said, we're ending this game. We're gonna end this game. I don't care what you say. Papa Nike goes in there. He charges his ultimate. They didn't really have the damage to tell him, no, you can't do that. And so he got his full ultimate charge. The Scylla Crush come out, and Scylla had also gotten into that ultimate. If that ultimate had came out, it was a guaranteed, end there. But they were able to get it anyway. I'm surprised.
That's one way to win a set. I would love to hear the comms right now for the Wingers. That was a win that I was not expecting to win that early.
Mm-hmm.
Whew. My jaw hit the floor.
All right. Well, with that crazy end, we're going to go into a quick break while we get the interview ready for you guys in just a quick second. Are back with the interview, and we got a special guest here, the mid laner from the set, Cynic. Cynic, how you feeling?
Dude, I'm feeling great, man. I'm riding off the high from that win right now. So, feels good.
All right. Well, I'm going to pass it on to my man, Son of Two Dog, to ask you some questions about the set.
So, after game one, tell me a little bit about your adjustments between game one and game two to lead you guys to a 23-0 victory.
Well, I just want to point out that the comms, we only had 4 people talking throughout the entire team the first game. Fable had some complications with work, and he couldn't really talk. So he wasn't all there, so we were doing our best. But after game one, Mark decided, I want to make a little bit of a roster change, see how we can mix things up. So we decided to put Papa Nike in there at support to really help us with that aggression, because I feel like once we get rolling as a unit, we absolutely just decimate. And Papa Nike really can help us keep that aggression up by being a support that's really just in your face and engaging when we really need him to. So that was sort of the mix-up, was the roster change.
So tell me, as a fellow mid laner, and Muffin's also a mid laner,
Okay.
after game one, Priscilla didn't look the greatest. Why did you stay on at game two? And it looked great. It looked phenomenal game 2 and 3.
So game one, yeah, my Scylla wasn't the greatest, and we actually were gonna use that hell in mid probably, reflexing it between the mid and solo. But once the Odin got picked up, I thought we were going at mid, but Fable said, "Hey, you know what? I got this, bro. Give me the hell." And we were both kind of worried. We didn't really say it, but Fable secured that lane, and I just felt really comfortable on the Scylla the first game, regardless of stats. And I think that proved that the entire set.
Now, game 3. Everyone wants to know what was going through your mind when it was just you and Poppin versus Lucio and Serb.
Oh boy.
What made you guys make that end call there?
So when everyone died, me and Nike were hesitant of trying to push that Phoenix any farther, but we just realized this game's been going on for 40 plus minutes. We need to end now, because if we don't, this gives them so much opportunity to still come back, and we really wanted this win. So me and Nike just sort of said, "Hey, we're gonna go for it," and our rest of our team was saying, "Yeah, just go for it. Like you're hitting like 900 to 1,000 damage on your crush. Like just do what you got to do." And I was a little scared because Lucio, I think, was in my face right there with the Nike, but I sort of just sent it, hit the 1-2, and then it was game over. And we all just were so hyped. We were screaming and everything.
You have any questions, Muffin, before we take it out?
No, I think you really covered everything that I was planning on asking.
Well, that's
All right, and with that, we are going to end this wonderful, wonderful live stream, and we will see you guys tomorrow, I think, for another game.